Hey everybody, I know I'm a little early today. I have a 2 o'clock call I have to get on, so I can't really go late. There'll be some of you that go, where's Ham? When does Ham come on? Why isn't Ham here? If you want to hear Ham, he will come on after his therapy, which I think is right now like 11 o'clock. So I would imagine if he doesn't come on sooner, I would imagine that he'll come on in about an hour, so you can tune out and come back. I want him on here, but hey, life is such, as my dad used to say, life is such. It's like every expression that I used to hate hearing. The ones you hate hearing are the ones you remember. And then as you get older, the ones you remember that you hated are the ones that have the most utility. I was watching a video on St. Peter's, the big, massive cathedral. And I think that Holy Spirit is on one of their windows. I think it was late at night, but I recognized it. That building took 100 years to build, 120 years to build, and 50 additional years to complete the interior. Do you think any of us could do that? All right, let's look at, I'll look at some stocks, then we'll go down your points, and then I just want to hit some things. Hopefully we're not at World War III by the end of this call. Okay, NIXX, NIXX, 285, sexy NIXXY. That's my #1 trade for the year end. I think anytime you can buy it under $3, great. But I bet anytime you buy it under $5 or $8, great. I've shown you the charts before, and you know, if it gets boring, we can go over it again. But the support on NIXX, there's clear support. It's an uprising trend, and it's gone on for about 10 months. And the stock is right in support. Now that support, depending on how you measure it, could be as low as, I don't know, 230, as high as $3. And at any time, any stock that's under pressure from the criminal shorting can have a spike downward for a few days or a day or an hour. If you believe with me that this is a trade, view those pullbacks not as, oh my gosh, what do I do? Maybe it's a chance to buy a little bit more. To me, I do expect this stock to come under pressure either this week, Thanksgiving week, early next week, as I do with every single stock on our list. But to me, if I had new money, which I don't, to add to a situation, I'd just buy it. I would just buy it, because I think my target on NIXX and I'm going by the charts I already have shown you, $5, $8. Those targets, you add in risk because you move away from support. So let's say you bought it at 8. Well, then your risk is back to support, but the reward is still there. What do I think reward is? High end. I mean, nobody knows how high it could go, but I think $40, maybe as high as $60, maybe as high as $80, but 40, 50, 60, if you still have any. I'm not a diamond hand guy unless you want to be. You can do whatever you want. But in all of these, you've got to take your original capital off the table. Had we done that all along, I think we wouldn't be rich, but we wouldn't be sitting licking wounds of in some cases, I'm talking about myself, total losses, just absolute wipeout. So that's my numero uno. My number 2 is this Rail AI, WLAIF, 29 cents. Don't chase it. But on the other hand, I expect that one to be $1 very soon. And then I don't know how high it goes, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that. But that's a nice trade, RLAIF. Logic, everything's green today. Logic's green. I think it's true. They signed a financing that has the backward-looking VWAP crap in it. Every financing out there does now. If Donald Trump wanted to fix one thing, make it illegal, put CEOs in prison who sign VWAP financings. That would stop this. But I think the guys and women behind Logic know this risk. So I do believe that they're going to get their 6 or 7 or 8 companies merged in. And I think Logic has a target of 40, 50, 60 cents by the summer, but it could happen a lot more quickly. Certainly, as they wrap up some of this stuff, they have an incentive to get it done before the end of the year. Why? Because then they have auditing costs for the full year's accounting. They have an incentive to get it done. I think that stock could go to 18 cents from 0.018, maybe 20 cents, maybe 20. That's a nice move. Because I've decided to talk about it because I got so much heat, I no longer get any kind of whispers on GDC or ZJYL, but I talk about them now. I mean, it's a trade-off. You guys wanted me to talk about them, so I talk about them. I don't have any, no one's going to tell me something, hey, I heard this or that, so I can spread it out on the internets, the Twitter nets, the YouTube nets. However, I think GDC looks like it's about to go up. And I feel the same way about ZJYL, except with ZJYL, it's kind of had a heart attack, and it usually takes a little while to recover from that kind of pressure. On the other hand, what it looks like, they've pulled the rubber band so far back, it's going to snap and go forward. So I like GDC and ZJYL as well. To move possibly before the end of the year. I think Logic can. And then Finger, it was as high as $2. It's $1.97 now. I think that stock is a $3 to $4 stock, maybe a little bit higher, as the news that was in the video, Time Life video that I put up. And my target time frame on that's first quarter. It could happen more quickly. No, that's it. that's kind of it for the stocks to talk about. All right, here's Sam. Hello.
Hey, where are you?
I'm live. I just went live. I told everybody you're in therapy, but if you're not,
Put me on for a second. Put me on for a second.
All right, hang on. Just relax.
Battery 40%.
Stupid.
Connected to fuel light bulb.
Stupid system I have. All right, let me get you on the speaker. All right, you're on the speaker.
All right, I'm sorry, everybody. I'm running into rehab for my knee, and so I just called William to say hi. But two things. I got an update on MLSS. I think within 2 weeks we'll be happy. So if you want, I'm not averaging down. I'm not home. I can't. So, but that's what I heard. That's my update. So 2 weeks, 3 weeks is the zone where something good's gonna happen for us. So if you want to take a look at it, that's your business. I just told you I ordered it at $1 and I'm standing here. All right, so I did that. That's number one. Number two, I heard from a couple of big investors that mid-December time frame for the special dividend is right on the nose. That's what they're hearing. So if you look at it, we're, what are we, 12 trading days away from the middle of the month?
Probably less than that with the holidays and the half day.
Well, we're up this Thursday. I think, I don't know, Friday's a half a day. I'm not sure. But between now and December 15th, there's only, you're talking 12 days. That's it. All we need them to do is announce it, announce the record date, and then these guys got a huge problem. All right? So that's coming down real fast. I don't understand what they're doing. This morning in Finger Motion, all the volume was done in the first 30 seconds of the day, and then it stopped. Now we're up to 70,000. So it's traded like 10,000 shares in the last hour. It's sold. They washed trades out of the gate, so that's what they're doing. It's the same nonsense. I'm also hearing, William, from people that speak with Devin Nunes, they do expect Trump to say something about naked short selling. I don't know what day it is, so I'm just sitting back. I know he's going to drop the hammer, but he's got to do it soon. That's what the message was relayed back to me, is that he's going to do it sooner than later. So that's all I know. I don't know exactly what he's going to say. But if I was the president and not president yet, and I got till January 20th, I would sure come out and say, hey, anybody that short my stock illegally will pay the price. That's all he has to say. I don't know who the SEC commissioner is either. The guy from Robin Hood, he's not interested, so he's out. So I don't know who it's going to be.
It'll be silent.
But I'll be out, William, in 45 minutes. I'll check in with you at 12. But
Can't we listen while you're in there?
No,
Leave the speaker next to you.
You'll hear the screaming from when I get in there. All right, everyone. I'll speak to you later.
All right. So you got some ham. So that's good on MLSS. That's good on the dividend for Finger. That could be a trigger. All you ever want is something that catches them on off guard. That's what you want. And hopefully this time they won't buy out some guy to bring you a guy that dyes his hair and has a company with contracts, and you've got to get in it because the QSIP is changing and the company's not going to do a deal. We won't fall for that trap again, hopefully. I do want to say that I misspelled Martin Shen's name by accident, and I want to apologize to him out there. I really do want to apologize. I apologize without equivocation. I apologize fully. It was my fault. And all right, and I want to read to you about one of the stocks I've been telling you about, and I want to get you guys really geared up. We have a chance. I think this is one thing Lou was good at projecting. I think we're going to have a chance, like popcorn, to trade some over-the-counter stocks and particularly with the help of people here, like Kitteridge, Kit Carew, and others, we can find names. But I'm telling you all, the stock market is going to go to astonishing highs. It is, and if you're fair to me, you know I've been saying this for well over a year, and I'm not picking on him at all. But Ace was called, and I'm really, Ace is terrific. I mean, no negativity. I'm just saying that's my time reference in my head, because I remember he was saying we're going to have a crash and all that, and it's okay. Not all projections work. Whatever streak I'm on, and that's all it is. It's just luck. It's been correct, and I think you can ride out that hand. That I forget the numbers I gave you. We can go over them later, but I think all the indices are going to be up, and by the time they're up there, everyone you know, from the hot chick that manages your money to the old curmudgeon, is going to say, hey, this is a new market. Trump has changed things. We have all the energy. We're building out this. We're building out that. There's peace in the world. We're the toughest empire ever. And whoever he appoints to the Treasury, whatever that guy's name is, Bassinet or Bassinet, this guy's got it under control. And this is going to be different this time. When we get to those highs, and I'm talking big highs, I think I said, I have to look it up, but I think I said 60,000 in the Dow, 7,500 on the Russell. Anyway, call it 50% from here. Don't wait that long. Get out sooner. Take half of this trade. Take a third of this trade. Take 2/3. Why? Because when you're out, you'll be saying, oh, shucks, I should have stayed in. That's better than when you're in saying, oh, I can't sell yet. I can't sell yet. I can't sell yet. But when it collapses, when the facts of the situation meet the emotions, I think we're going to find out that Donald Trump's magic answers, and I'm not picking on him. I voted for him. I'm glad he's in office. But I just think things are just very hard to change right away. And one of them, tariffs, scares the hell out of me. Now, I will acknowledge that I studied economics. He's a businessman that built a negotiating empire, but tariffs scare the hell out of me. I guess it's good if it's like I have a bigger button than yours, but it could be that. It could be a war. It could be, frankly, and these are things I've predicted with abject horror. But it could be that right now you're hearing about hypersonic missiles. When I talked about them here, when I talked about them with my friends years ago, it's like, what are you talking about? And I'm sure you felt that way too. But what if Putin's reaction to another stupid, arrogant blunder by the Blinken and I'm trying to remember that redhead with the freckles. I can't remember. Samantha Powers. I think she's still there in the behind the scenes with Biden. One false step, you take out an aircraft carrier. Take out an aircraft carrier. It'll mean World War III probably, but if it doesn't lead to World War III, it's going to change the global power structure like that. Where's the U.S. military? Now, people fight back at me and say that's not going to happen. We have ways. What the hell ways do we have? He could drop a MIRV and probably take out the battleships. Anyway, I hope that never happens. I just think next year, maybe the year after that, the world, with the supply chains are gone, the economy's propped up on money printing. The banks have stolen everything. The top guys at the banks have stolen everything, and it's a con job. It's a confidence job, and it's worldwide. China seems to have some trouble, although they invested their trillions in infrastructure, factories, and alliances around the world. We squandered our trillions since George Poppin J. Bush on bombing deserts and assaulting mountains and killing brown-skinned people for nothing except ill will, and a violation of our own honor and our own word and there's a word when two people trust each other. No one trusts us anymore. There's a word for it, but no one trusts us anymore. And we're about to see the full effects. Anyway, I think after the stock market hits, I don't know, 50% from here, and every newspaper, every chick on TV shows, every handsome guy that hasn't read a book in a decade, that's in front of a teleprompter is going to be telling you the market's going to go higher and higher and higher. I think then the market corrects. And I think it's going to round trip 90%, 95%. It's going to be devastating. Devastating. Real estate will come down. People will be selling everything. So I think that's coming. It won't last, depending on when the Fed gets involved. It won't last forever. I don't know. I don't think they'll stop it in 6 months. 9 months? It'd be interesting to go read what happened after the market crash in 99. Something tells me it reversed. Anyway, I'd have to look it up in 31 or 30 or something. I'd have to look it up. But we'll get a bounce in the markets because there'll be so much money spent. So much money spent. We'll go to war, of course, but the Fed's balance sheet will expand to unheard of assets. They will buy everything. They will buy bonds. They might buy stocks. They might buy companies. They'll buy countries. They'll buy bloody everything. And we'll fall for it one more time. One more time, the world will fall for it. So I think the markets could, under Trump, could rally. But it'll never go back to the highs we're going to see in this immediate time. But what's going to happen, I believe, very much under Trump, but it has to happen anyway, is since Reagan, we've been sending our technology, we've been educating Chinese students. I'll pick on China, but it's Malay, Thailand, parts of Eastern Europe. It's all over the world. But we've been educating Chinese students, teaching them everything. Under Bill Clinton, we gave away to the Chinese our military secrets. Under Poppin J, we allowed the Chinese to put one of our hidden jets, stealth jets. They brought it down to the ground. They stole that technology, reversed engineer it. Now they have jets that are better than ours. Under Bill Clinton, we put China it's still a developing country. So it gets all these benefits under the World Trade Organization. We've allowed as you're seeing, we allow our companies to go bankrupt. China can buy the patents. We gave our patents to China. Our everything's over there, jobs, everything. But what's gone now is the supply chains. And China's not in the mood for our lies anymore. It's not in the mood. China is a real threat to us economically. Now, they've made some mistakes with their debt, with their real estate. But, I mean, this is the problem when you have communism up above and capitalism down below. You have malinvestment, bad investment. But guess what? We're a socialist nation now. I would imagine almost 50% of our GDP is government spending. And it's done the way the women in various departments want to even up how many women are in our military, how many gays are in our military, how many others are, which is all fine on merit. It's all fine on merit, but it's an odd way of trying to go for success. Ham says they're covering in finger. Let me look. Maybe he meant DJT. I don't know. He says they're covering. Anyway, let me stop my riff and come to the point. We are going, I heard a word which I almost like, it's not English. We're going to reshore. We're going to reshore. And I think we're going to need to change our tax incentives. We're going to need, and immigration's welcome, everything's welcome, but we're going to re-industrialize America. We have no choice. We're going to make our farms and our food healthy. Hopefully, we're going to get rid of these big agriculture, big drugs, big bank. We're going to have to, because I read something last night or this morning. There's a book written by a guy named Veen, I think. Let me see. Oh, here it is. Vine. There's a book written by David Vine called Base Nation. How many U.S. military bases abroad harm my eyesight? It's not how many, it's just how U.S. military bases abroad harm America and the world. Anyway, he says, quote, in total, all the non-United States countries of the world have about 30 foreign bases among them, as compared to the United States with 800. Things are going to change. So in that environment, what's going to change is commodities and real assets, real things. And there may be things you know how to do. But it's going to come back. If America's going to have a chance, it's going to come back where the trades are rewarded, work is rewarded, rather than women being promoted to human resources and men being promoted as long as they go along, get along, to fulfill simp roles with boss. I don't know. I don't want to. Yeah, people are going to get mad at me. Oh, you're being no. What I'm saying is we've got to get back to the hurly burly of fighting, eat what you kill, competition, and let the best woman win. That's what we got to get back to. I'm not anti anybody winning. We just can't subsidize mediocrity anymore. No more mediocrity. We got to have excellence. So anyway, what I think's going to happen this year, these high numbers might happen by January. It could take longer, but I think gold is going to maybe as high as 4,000. Silver, I think, is going to go to 90. Oil, I think, is going to go up, particularly if we have a war. I think natural gas could spike this winter if we have cold weather. However, I do think if there is this crash coming, I think you're going to see everything sell off, including commodities. Copper will go up and then come down. I don't know. Iron ore might be up and then come down. It all changes if we go to war, but it'll delay it. I wouldn't be surprised in a worldwide recession and panic to see some banks go down. Big banks, Barclays, Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, but maybe international banks. I wouldn't be surprised to see some go down. And you're going to see commodities pull back, but I don't think silver will pull back to below 30. And it's 31 right now, 30. It might pull back. If it went to, I don't know if it's going to go to 90. That's my projection. Maybe it goes to 75. It'll pull back to 50 or 45. But silver's going to come a time where you can't buy it. You won't be able to buy it. So you got to get in it to win it. And gold might get to that point as well. So there's going to be some fun ahead to make money. But the idea, I was listening to some analyst, old guy, and he was talking about how Wall Street stockbrokers used to be called customers men. They were stockbrokers, but they were called customers men. And then when I came in and I started I trained at Merrill Lynch, started there. I actually had a interesting exposure briefly to a over-the-counter firm, but that I didn't do anything there. If anything, I would call it sort of an internship, because I didn't do anything. But I remember this. They changed the name of account executives to financial consultants. We became financial consultants, and they taught us about consultancy and what your job is consultative, rather than being a stock slinger. And I didn't ever think of it, but it's true. It was all the way back to then. When I was at Merrill, there was a guy that trained us about the baby boom generation. And he said that the baby boomers are, I guess, I don't know, somewhere around the late 40s to the early 60s, something like that. But it's it's all the people coming back from World War II, jamming their girlfriend, buying a house and having kids. And this guy, I forget his name, he pointed out that baby boom generation made housing where to be in the suburbs. It made automobiles. It made kindergartens. It made diapers. It made, whatever. It made townships have to build elementary schools. And so this generation went through, and he compared it to a boa constrictor eating a pig. You could see this big pig going through the various stages of the snake, and it would go through, and that's what brought on rock and roll, brought on I don't know if that generation was, I guess that was the baby boom, the drugs, the legal drugs like birth control and other things that came. And as the baby boom generation came through, prices went up, colleges went up, the cost of everything went up as it went through. Well, he predicted that you're going to see stock asset prices going up as people save. This big, huge blob of people keep saving. The value of assets are going to go up, but then they're going to retire. They're going to retire. And he said it would be interesting to see what happens to home prices, what happens to stock prices as they start selling those assets to live. Right now, it looks like those assets are going to go to the next generation. Anyway, Merrill Lynch certainly saw that, and they came up with this consultative. So they started moving stockbrokers from trading to getting people to put money first in Merrill Lynch products, but then into, and then I'm not speaking, I don't know exactly how it happened there, but I saw it happen. And then since my old office, now Morgan Stanley, it's the idea of getting money into wrapped accounts, getting it into ETFs, getting it to managers. The whole idea is to get boomers to invest their money and not trade it. So Wall Street can cheat. That's the backstop of every trade. They can go out and take gambles, and they can always save by taking the cost of a failing trade out of either the taxpayer or the assets that are just sitting there to be stolen from. And it's very interesting. That's what happened. All right, so I don't know my point on all that, but when the market has this crest, make sure you take your assets out. There's going to be a lot of boomers that are going to lose everything. There's going to be a lot of panic. Where do you go to save it? My opinion, silver. Silver. These small stocks will work too. There'll be small stocks because they're not in the indices. Nobody on Wall Street owns these small stocks. So it's a place to hit and run, and maybe make an investment. Gold will be a place, platinum, oil and gas. I think oil could come back to, let's say it runs to 70, 80, 90. Could it go higher in a war? Hell yeah. But I think oil could also come back as countries need money, like Saudi Arabia will need money. I think it could come back into the 30s, but it won't last. It won't last. It will not last. So there's going to be some ebbs and flows to buy. All right, I want to read to you before Ham comes on. This is Jim Rickards' Strategic Intelligence, the November edition. And he talks about the erection. Ratzel ruck with your erection. That used to be a joke. But we'll skip that. But then it comes to a long article. I'm not going to read it all. But the headline is why this sleepy gold stock rally could explode. I'll read it later. I'm running out of time. I don't want to. I'm going to skip. I'm going to skip all of his discussion, but we'll read it later. He emphasizes there's not many choices in America for what we do fiscally or monetarily, and even Trump doesn't have many choices. He then points out that central banks are buying gold again. Historically, central banks allocated a significant portion of their reserves to gold. In the 1980s, nearly 75% of central bank reserves were held in the gold. Today, the figure is less than 20%. And in the Western countries, it's far less than that in many countries. Gold is hitting new highs. When he went to press, it was 2,780. All right, I'm going to skip all of that. So what I want to read to you, because it's one of the stocks when you guys ask me, what would you buy? Barrick Gold, the most undervalued large cap gold producer. I will read this to you. It's only 2 columns. It's 1 page. It's written by Dan Amos. He's a senior analyst at Strategic Intelligence, a Jim Rickards production, which you can subscribe to. All right, Barrick Gold, the most undervalued large cap gold producer. The 2024 bull market in gold stocks has been calm and orderly. That's one way of putting it. However, history shows that when this tiny niche sector grabs the attention of general investing audiences and inflows into gold stock ETFs rise, the rallies can be exhilarating. And that's what I'm telling you. I already told you that all those financial consultants, consultative investment advisors, they're telling you to own less than 0.5%, half of 1% of your assets in gold. If they just change that to 5%. So you want to get in front of this. One classic way to grab attention of generalist investors is to deliver upside surprises in earnings reports, along with large hikes in earnings guidance. That's what I hope happens with Finger. During this bountiful third quarter earnings seasons for gold miners, we recommend a bullish trade on Barrick Gold, New York Stock Exchange, GOLD. That's an over-the-counter symbol, but it's too good to give up. GOLD. Barrick's large portfolio of mines is concentrated in many of the world's best mining locations. It has a reserve position of 77 million ounces of gold. That little gold company that some of you invested in could exceed that number. Just so you know. But it's still risk. It's not, it's not a promise. It has a reserve position of 77 million ounces of gold, plus a nice bonus of low-cost copper resources. From 2019 through the end of 2023, Barrick's Brownfields exploration program has added almost 29 million ounces of proven and probable gold reserves. So although Barrick is a large, mature, blue chip, I said blue chip, company, it's successfully replacing the gold ounces in the ground that it mines and sells. This chart shows Barrick is capable of surging by 50 to 70% in short periods of time when its value captures the public's attention. I'm not going to show it to you, but in 2016, that's what happened. It went up, it looks, by much more than 70%. From 19 to 2000, it went up more than 70%. And then there were sharp trades upward. Barrick's, many other times, Barrick's steady financial improvement since embarking on a debt reduction program in 2015 argues for a higher stock price. Efficient operations and asset sales have enabled Barrick to pay down a substantial amount of debt. Barrick's debt, net of cash, is now roughly zero. No debt. We used to have a broker in my office. This stock is unbelievable. It has no debt. He had a great Southern accent. This company's unbelievable. It has no debt. Versus 10.3 billion at the end of 2014. That's massively impressive. In September of 2018, Barrick announced an all-stock merger with Randgold Resources. It now owns 5 of the industry's top 10 Tier 1 gold assets. Barrick now owns 5 out of the top 10 Tier 1 gold assets. Cortez and Goldstrike in Nevada. Goldstrike, you know what Goldstrike is? That's the Carlin Trend. That little company you invested in is right next door. Same story, same on the upside, the same potential number of ounces, slightly different recovery process, which is being proven out now, we hope, in the pilot plant. So one of the top tier 10 gold assets in the world is Goldstrike in Nevada, Cortez and Goldstrike in Nevada. The invisible gold in the Carlin Trend. Another one is Kibali in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Then the Lulo Gonkoko asset in Mali, and the Pueblo Viejo in the Dominican Republic. Wow. DR is going to be rich. Maybe they can replant all those trees. Or it's Haiti that needs trees. Anyway, 3 more operations have the potential to become Tier 1 gold assets. The Gold Rush 4 Mile and Turquoise Ridge, both located where? Nevada. And the Porgera in Papua New Guinea. I'll tell you stories about Papua New Guinea. My dad was posted to Port Moresby. I wish I had visited him. I'll tell you stories. Anyway, Barrick defines a Tier 1 asset as a mine with a stated life beyond 10 years, annual production of at least 500,000 ounces of gold, and total cash costs per ounce over the mine life that are in the lower half of the industry cost curve. Can I tell you about that tiny gold company you all invested in? It has a life, well, we're going to prove this out. We're in that prove it stage. but we'll know it soon. Projected life of 20, 30, 40 years, maybe longer. Annual production of at least 1 million ounces of gold, maybe 2 million ounces a year, and total cash costs in the lower fifth of all mines in the world, probably the lower, maybe the lower 10th. Management regularly publishes and updates a 10-year production forecast. So Barrick Gold forecasts production of between 5 and 7 million ounces gold equivalent per year from the existing portfolio through 2033. This stock should be a core position in any precious metal portfolio, as I've told you before. Temporary operational hiccups at Barrick's flagship mine in the Dominican Republic, Pueblo Viejo, were the main reasons for the spike in production costs late in 2023. Those hiccups were fixed by Easter of 2024. At Pueblo Viejo, production is expected to grow to 800,000 ounces per year. That will make it a world-leading, low-cost gold mine with a more enormous scale efficiencies. However, despite the clear improvement in operations, plus the upward trend in gold prices, the consensus analyst earnings estimates for Barrick have been remarkably tame. Barrick's forward earnings per share estimate looks far too low. If gold prices average 2,700 or higher in 2025, what can you do? Buy cheap long-term calls, buy cheap leaps, or warrants if they have them. I don't know if they do. The blue line in the nearby chart, it's all black and white, shows the consensus analyst estimate. This estimate is skyrocketing as higher gold prices flow largely to Barrick's bottom line. Yet, Barrick's stock price has not kept pace. Barrick's forward PE ratio is currently 11. That's the lowest it's been in a decade. And that's on estimates that we think are still too low. NVIDIA is trading at 70 times estimates. By mid-2025, $30 is a realistic price target for Barrick Resources, GOLD. That sort of move would be an acceleration of the steady pace of Barrick's rally thus far in 2024. Both higher earnings per share estimates and a higher price to earnings ratio can fuel such a rally. Action to take. Buy Barrick Gold Corp, GOLD, up to $23 a share. All right, I'll stop. I'll go to your comments. Big money is going to nuclear. He has some questions that he answers about central banks. We can read that some other time. But it would be informative. And let's go down their current list of picks. Very interesting. These are Jim's picks, Jim Rickard's picks. Newmont Mining, that's NEM. He came in at $67. And it's below that now. Fortuna Silver Mines, FSM, he's down 20%. First Majestic Silver, he's down 41%. I see these as opportunities to buy. It does, to me, that means his idea is still true, but he just got in early. Equinox Gold down 20%. EQX. I don't know this one. Ovintiv Inc. I think it's a gold company, but I'll find out. $56. It's down 23%. L3 Harris Technologies. That's up 9%. Crescent Energy. I'll study that. If he's picking it, that's got to be good. Down 9%. CF Industries down 3%. Essential Utilities down 2%. Baxter International. God, I had Baxter for so many years. That's healthcare. That's down 15%. PIMCO, 25 years, zero coupon. He's flat on that. That's interesting. He must think interest rates are coming down. That's heavily leveraged to lower interest rates. He has the iShares 1 to 3 year Treasury ETF. Again, I guess he feels like short-term rates are coming down. Franco Nevada Corp, FNV, that one's up. That's another one I've told you about. APA, wow, I've told you that's one I like. APA, down 27%. These are stocks we can start buying. ConocoPhillips, I like Conoco, down 13%. That's COP. If you don't like COPs, you don't like Conoco. Wheaton, Will Wheaton. Wow, a lot of the stocks I told you. Why do you say Will Wheaton? Wheaton. Say Cool Whip. Cool Whip. I can't do it. Wheaton Precious Metals, WPM. That's up 18%. B2 Gold Corp. I think I've mentioned that one to you, but it wasn't my idea. And here it is, BTG. That's up 30%. Schlumberger. I told you about Schlumberger. Down 5%. Sprott Uranium Miners. Wow. I've told you about Sprott, but that's interesting. Uranium Miners, that's up 35%. And then Intel Corp, which I told you about, but it was the same guy, so I don't need to get all excited. He's flat on that one. All right, I'll read your questions. And we'll wait for him to call in. I missed you as much as a moose misses a hat rack. All right, let's see. Ham will probably be on in 15 minutes. Hey, Donna. Donna, I'm sorry. I don't remember if it was Donna or Barbara, but I'm sorry that I didn't make it clearer that if there's a so-called NIXX bridge in your brokerage account, it's not real. You got to move your shares to the transfer agent in order to make sure it's real. They're just trying to ride it out to hopefully the company starts trading again, frankly. Kodak's up today? Wow. Maybe it's finally squeezing. Maybe that's what Ham meant. I mean, look. Oh, Root. Ham points out that Root's all the way back to 110. They are covering. But we can ask him about Kodak. You are. All right, so it's Barbara. It's Barbara. Hey, Nunya. Yeah, I just felt badly because she said she had asked, and somehow I had missed it. What's my opinion on MLS? I don't know what the big news is, so I'll reserve a final opinion. but they had great news and the stock went down. I know the guy that's referring it to him, and that guy's savvy. He's I think he's clued in. He's not going to give an idea that's just a rookie, some guy being paid IR like some people we know. So I trust that. But let's ask him. Let me write that down. We'll ask about ML, LSS, and Kodak. I'll write these down. If you have new money, I think you could buy you might be able to buy, don't chase it, but you might be able to buy RLAIF and triple your money in the next 2 weeks. And NIXX, NIXX, I think you could buy, there could be some pressure this coming week. It's Thanksgiving. The shorts they're like that dodo bird that goes up and down. They just hit a button. They go to lunch, go on vacation. But I think NIXX could double, triple, quadruple your money in the next 2 weeks. And it has the chance, sort of by Christmas time, of, I don't know, you could make 10x on your money or better. That's how I see NIXX. And I still think you can make 10x on Logic, and if it starts trading, if there's some announcements. I don't know what MLSS's upside target is, but we'll find out. I do trust Benjamin. I do trust the guy who gave the idea to him. If he gives an idea, it's a good idea. Next bridge PR. All right. Let me go all the way up before Ham comes on, but I'll get that. AVXL. I don't know anything about that, but I'll look it up. Sava. Oh, Sava failed to meet their goals. I see. They're going to stop the study. Let's look that up. So shorts make a ton of money. AVXL announced they have a peer review coming for Alzheimer's. All right, I'll look that up if I remember. That was a good one. You're so clever. Hi, Leanna. I was going to tell you to smile, but you might be smiling. You might be smiling anyway. Hey, yo. I remember when that was brand new. Yo, that was new. Yeah, Peppermint Patty. Ugh, can't stand her. I can't stand the one that replaced her. Hey, Nunya. All right, I'm going to MLSS. What happened to Patrick Byrne being head of SEC? I don't know. I don't know if he ever was going to be. My understanding is that he put out a tweet that said there was people got ahead. Basically, I'm paraphrasing, the people got ahead of themselves and that he's, he's not close to Trump, and he hasn't been asked. He did put in there that he would serve if he's asked. I don't know. He didn't say it was about the SEC. That was a preface to his comments. But it's clear he's not going to be the head of the SEC. Good morning. Ham used to date, I don't know. Their conversations would be short. Hey, Chris. Hey, The Rising. Thank you. Lucky's. He's a dear boy. He is a dear boy. I don't know how much. I've never had a dog die before, so I don't know how much time I have left, but he can't walk. But then he can for a while. It's weird. He just goes around in circles on his butt. I can lift him up, and then but I treasure every moment I'm with him. He won't make another Thanksgiving, I don't think. So glad I listened to you guys and bought another one of your scam stocks. Finger, Ramboy V. Yeah, I'm glad. I don't know what to say to that. You bought it. I don't know what price you paid. I do think that Finger has the potential. I'm just a broken record on it. Once Finger gets to a point where there's clarity on which arm of its production is going to take the company to the next level. In other words, once people can understand that, hey, it's got this huge government contract that lasts for 5 years, whatever, or it's got this massive contract in the data business with MetLife that's, is the premier product in China for fire insurance of homes and apartments. I don't know. I'm making it something that people can really understand, and it doesn't take longer than 2 or 3 sentences to explain. That'll be a positive. And the next thing is, and I expect, based on the interview again that I just gave, that Finger Motion, I don't think their third quarter, he didn't tell me this, I'm just reading between the lines. I don't expect some great, wonderful third quarter revenue, cash flow, earnings out of Finger. It'll be okay. The guidance will be more important than the results. But fourth quarter, which is the end of February, it could finally cross so that revenues are on an upturn, and which means forward revenues can be projected to be much stronger. Cash flow growing, and then earnings. It might turn earnings positive in the fourth quarter. I'm not saying for the whole year based on the interview, but if the market can project from the fourth quarter into 2026, our 2025 growing, repeatable, predictable, positive earnings, Finger, I think, can be a $3, $4, $5, $6 stock. And once it's sitting there, you and your guys are going to have a hard time scaring people out of it. And in fact, you might have to buy back in. And that buying back in, because you're underfunded or you don't want to lose money, so you'll let the LLC be burned at the prime broker. That buying back in may trigger a price move that then triggers a bigger buy-in. And, we'll see. We'll see. But I don't know. You don't give much information when you listened, what price you paid. And I don't think Finger is a scam stock. I think you are a scam But I don't think Finger is a scam stock. Hey, Alex, Toby, good morning. Damn it, Sean. Is that what your mother used to say? Damn it, Sean. My mother's brother, who was my godfather, he died. My cousin Gayla, she said her name around the house was "Damn it, Gayla." She was the middle child. She's a good kid, but he would go around, "Damn it, Gayla. Why'd you leave this here? Damn it, Gayla." That's what you reminded me of. Thank you. Hey, Eddie. Hey, is this Botis and the Pompadour of Love? Some people call me Botis. I'm a smoker, a toker, and a midnight smoker. And I catch my loving on the run. A high dose prednisone. All right, I'll go over to the vet. So it'll be a race between his stomach and his legs. But I'll go do that. I'll go do, and I want to, somebody told me buy a harness for his back legs. He still loves to go into the shop on the corner and the shop down the high street, and he flirts with all the girls, and he he's so gentle, and he's still handsome. So some people go, "Oh, he's so cute. He's so cute." My German Shepherd for the last pet could not walk. I keep petting him. Cooper's human. He doesn't let me hug him. He never did, really. And he flinches because I think something hurts. But last night, I put my mattress on the floor so he can sleep with me. He twisted around and he slept right so his face was near me, and I pet him as long as I could. What is the name of the transfer agent? It's Equinity. Barbara, when I pull up the PR, I'll find that. But there's on NextBridge's page, I'll pull it up when we talk about it. There's a fact sheet, and it's all right there. There's a phone number, all of it, and we'll go over it again. Good to see you, Leanna. What was the song? Beautiful brown eyes. I'll never love blue eyes again. But I forget how the Brown Eyes song started. Beautiful brown eyes. I'll have to look it up. I hate my brain. I never had a problem with memory before. But it was a song about beautiful brown eyes and never loving blue eyes again. Yeah, I did buy some beef broth. I'll do that. I'll do that. I haven't done it yet, but I'll make it up. And he doesn't like wet food because I never really. Well, no, he does. I'll figure it out. I'll do it. Thank you. Bern is sick. Battling cancer. That's terrible. Per normies on Wall Street, $1.30 target. Who asked? There's a good answer. Toe cramp. $1.30 target on MLSS. My guess is if it goes to $1.30, Ham will get out. But if it goes to $1.30, maybe it has more in it. I'm cashing out today at break even. Well, I gave you my ideas. Kodak up 22%. Wow. That might be breaking out. Sound is back. Sorry. I don't know what happened. What's wrong with the sound? It's me talking. That's what's wrong with it. Dogs are my favorite people too. And you know, they call it the Humane Society. Why would dogs want to go to a humane society? We treat humans like crap. I'd much rather be at the Dog Ain Society. Once the financial audit is complete, does the 45-day review by the SEC clock start all over? If you're talking about Finger, I don't think there's another. I mean, you might be right, Jim. You might be right, because anything can happen with those guys. But I do not think, really? I thought Trump got 312. This is saying Trump got 297. Oh no, he won Michigan, so this is wrong. So anyway, Jim, I kind of asked that question or nudged it, and what he said is he didn't expect that there would be any. Once the audit's finished, he kind of I'm using my word. He kind of expected the SEC approval to be pro forma. Why? Because they had approved everything. The change in auditors just is the only item. So everything else has been reviewed. It's just, but he did admit that, and so you could be right. He did admit the SEC is capable of anything. Hey, pilot to the moon. Hey, Brian Main. What's wrong with the sound? It's me talking. It's me talking. That's the problem. Nobody likes the sound of my voice. Me worst of all. Worse or worst? If love you is wrong, I don't want to be right. All right, I bought a 300-page book that I'm going to read so you don't have to, called The Great Silver Bull by Peter Krauf. I just got it this morning or last night. Anyway, just cut it open. But I can read the conclusion, which is not long, while we wait for him. Conclusion, written by Peter Krauf. I can't emphasize enough how being invested in silver brings me comfort. I know that silver is a solid hedge against inflation and wealth insurance. It's been a proven store of value over millennia. And unlike stocks or bonds, doesn't depend on anyone else to honor it. It always has intrinsic value. Put simply, silver is the surest way I know to protect my family's financial future. By now, you've seen that silver's past gains are inspiring. It's easy to appreciate how much silver and silver equity stocks have made investors wildly rich during secular bull moves. That's what's coming, a secular bull move. But it's the potential as we go forward in this historic bull market that has me so excited. bull market in metals. We are living through a period when, thanks to modern monetary theory, this idiocy, I'll show you the woman that is pushing it, but it's not just she. It's Ben Bernanke and Paul Krugman. It's just modern monetary theory. It's crap. Modern monetary theory is relentless money printing in the name of the game. Interest rates are being held near 5,000, no price discovery in interest rates. Interest rates are being held near 5,000-year lows because debt levels are at historic highs, government debt and rising. So imagine, do you think that leads to malinvestment, let's say in housing? Central bank digital currencies are being rolled out to facilitate transactions and debt. Also to turn us into digital junkies. It's a war on cash. Governments are in a borrowing frenzy to try and keep their economies afloat and stimulated. Sounds like my love life. They can't afford higher interest rates because that will mean soaring payments on their ever-growing debts. At some point soon, just paying the interest will require printing more money. There will be a crisis of confidence in fiat currencies equivalent to the crisis in confidence in fiat automobiles. I used to own a Fiat. I loved it, but it was a fix it again, Tony. High and sustained inflation will cause people to realize their money is no longer safe as a store of value. This will accelerate the death of the dollar. Ray Dalio said in 2021, quote, "Cash is not a safe investment because it will be taxed by inflation," unquote. And that's likely to lead to another financial crisis, probably the worst one we've ever had. There will be a financial crisis which is the worst one we've ever had. It will be worse than any other. The Federal Reserve is arguably the most powerful and influential institution on the planet. It has, can you believe this? 23,000 employees and Janet Yellen running it. And still, the last three Federal Reserve chairs, Ben Bernanke, Janet Yellen, and Jerome Powell, I forgot about him, all three of them said they didn't see, didn't expect, or were unable to identify asset bubbles. 23,000 economists couldn't project asset bubbles. And yet, as this guy said, Peter Croft, in the introduction, several fund managers did see the mortgage crisis in 2008. That's why they positioned their investments to benefit. Just 3 years after former Fed Chair Janet Yellen said we would not witness another financial crisis, quote, in our lifetimes, unquote, she was proven wrong. In early 2020, the pandemic hit. It caused global economies to be shut down for months. Within a year and a half, the Fed's balance sheet doubled from 4 trillion to 8 trillion. I think it went as high as 15 trillion. This time, I bet it goes to 40 or 50 trillion. Deficits soared and the global debt hit new all-time records. Inflation, which had been falling for decades, soon reached 40-year highs. My point is, and that's the author of the book, you don't look to central planners to either guide you or save you. They have too many motives and restraints to give you an honest outlook. You do not look to central planners to do what's truly best for the economy. By manipulating interest rates and printing vast amounts of currency, central planners are the root of the problem. Central banks create money with no effort, a few keystrokes, and they generate billions of dollars within seconds. They don't consult or even warn people. See, I personally think this is a misinterpretation. I think the banks themselves and the fraudulent expansion of assets through fractional reserve banking, but when they put that on bond markets, metals markets, and stock markets, and homes, mortgages, I think they create the currency before the central bank does. That's, anyway, in the end, it doesn't matter who's right. By contrast, in order to create silver, you have to put out a lot of effort. Its supply, silver's supply is limited. This makes silver the ultimate protection against governments as they inflate their currency to paper over their mistakes. There will be another financial crisis, and the next one's likely to be a doozy. The excesses of the past several decades are converging toward a major financial reset on a global scale. We are barreling toward the largest transfer of wealth in history. And that's what I'm saying. You have to be your own central bank. You have to be. And even start small. But we can be, even small, we can be on the receiving end of that transfer. Then we have something to work with after the panic, after the love is gone. Most people will be caught off guard, unaware and unprepared. Do not be one of them. I've never read this before. I'm reading it to you. Most people hold large portions of their wealth in ETFs, mutual funds, stocks, and bonds, and in sectors which will get hammered in the coming bear market. I didn't read this before. This guy's pretty smart. Wise investors will move some of their capital into alternatives like silver, gold, and other tangibles before everyone else. Platinum, palladium, copper, yes and no. Oil and gas, clean water, brown eyes, diamonds, things you know. I don't know. Do you know trucks? Do you know antique automobiles? Do you know fine art? Do you know apple orchids? Things you know. As most investors belatedly discover that silver and silver stocks are rising as hedges, they will start investing and push the entire sector ever higher. That's how the largest transfer of wealth will occur. But you have to invest in silver while it's undervalued. You'll be there before the herd discovers it and lifts it to unimaginable heights. I can't read this chart. Right now, gold and silver are dramatically underowned. The gold market is tiny in comparison to global assets. The 50 largest US mutual funds, if I'm reading, I'll have to scale this up and show it to you, have 59 trillion in assets. Global pensions funds have 49 trillion in assets. 10 largest investment banks have 32 trillion AUM. 50 largest global investor global investor banks have 6 trillion, it looks like. Sovereign wealth funds have 8 trillion. That seems small. US hedge funds, 3 trillion? I don't know what this is. Global. Anyway, gold is under half a trillion. Total gold investment holdings are at 1 trillion, this says. So I'll read the larger print. Gold represents a mere 1.1% of global assets. It barely appears on the chart. Silver is just 10% of the gold market. It will not take much of a shift out of stocks and bonds and into silver to cause a massive surge in silver prices. The savviest investors, he's got a stock market letter called Silver Stock Investor. I'll have to look that one up. Have already moved a portion of their capital from overvalued sectors to precious metals. Rest assured, these folks will reap the biggest windfalls. I hate that word, rest assured. The key is to anticipate the secular silver bull market. Put some capital there and ride it as long as possible once the ball gets rolling, and it will get rolling. I had a government professor that gave me an A+ or something on a paper, but he gave me a big red line out when I wrote something like, that got the bureaucratic ball rolling. He said, "What's the bureaucratic ball rolling?" He crossed it out. Oh well. I hope you now realize that silver, prized as money for thousands of years, will continue to protect investors. It will thrive, silver will, in the face of the next financial crisis, just as it has done in the past. By all accounts, we are still in the earlier stages of a secular precious metals bull market. But silver will do more than serve as insurance. You can make money on it as an investment in all of its forms, while so many other people struggle. Silver stocks have been some of the best performing assets ever, not really recently. Under the right conditions, which we now have in spades, they become high octane, high return investments. In 2020, I witnessed silver's outstanding gains in the wake of financial stresses during the pandemic, vis-a-vis gold. I've been investing, researching, and writing about resources for 20 years. So have I. 25 years. I haven't been writing. I should have been writing. I've written emails. Anyway, so now he has his me page about how great he is. Silver is 1/10 the size of the gold market. So he wrote this whole book, which I bought, to get me to subscribe to his service. All right. Remember, we're entering a market driven by massive money printing Infrastructure stimulus. Wow. Focused on the transition to a green economy. I think it's more than that green economy. And the largest transfer of wealth ever. All right. So I read more to you. I read more. Ham made it sound like a sure thing with Byrne. Well, you have to ask him. I never considered it a sure thing, middle ground. I watched a video that Patrick Byrne put up on Twitter, I don't know, 4 years ago, where he got into the White House to give advice to Donald Trump, and he sat on those couches, which I sat on once in my lifetime. And he admitted that Trump barely listened to him. He got to say one thing. So I never had high hopes of Patrick Byrne becoming the head of the SEC. Maybe there'll be somebody better. I think Patrick Byrne already did his job in the sense that he spent, I guess, $30 million fighting this, putting it out there and exposing it. But then I also think he must have signed some sort of settlement because he disappeared in a way. That was a good book. I forget which one I said. All these close Senate and House races. Absolutely, Donna. They stole the Senate seat in Michigan. They stole it in Wisconsin. They stole it in Arizona. And they stole all these close houses so they can interfere. The deep state can stay in control. I hope they examine all of those. That's why I was excited by Matt Gaetz. I believe Mr. Wu Tang said it best. Cash rules everything around me. Cream. Get the money. Dollar, dollar, y'all. Cash rules everything around me. Yeah, but Sean, it's what's happening. It's like with NextBridge, this guy, Johnny Tobacco, that everyone loves. I don't know him. But I think the idea of getting NextBridge trading digitally, oh, it's on blockchain and you can track it. I don't think that's the issue. They can use these huge levers of derivatives and these huge levers of cheating to affect the price. I think the best thing that ever happened to us is NextBridge is private, and I hope it stays that way in all forms. But anyway, they're just trying to get us everything digital. Cutie pie. Is she going to dive? Oh, no, that's a boat. That's a boat. That's cute. Canadian BBB. Okay, I'll write that down. They'll all be good, Woody. But what will happen is if you're not invested in these stocks, what will happen is the blue chip, the tier 1 stocks will go first. And they'll go, and I've said this before, we can go through it, but I mean, here's the little chart of Barrick Gold. It's not even at its highs. That'll go first, and that'll probably triple or more. It's $20 now. In the whole secular bull, it'll go over 100. But as that goes up, money gets sucked in. These so-called geniuses that manage your money, they'll start looking to the secondary stocks, and that'll be I don't know if Alamis Gold is still a second tier. It might now be first tier, but for sake of argument, they'll go to the Alamis Golds, and then those will get overvalued. They'll go to the tertiary, and those will be stocks that are no one's really heard of, but are producing, and maybe that's what yours is. But then they'll go to the quaternary, they'll go to the fourth and fifth tier stocks, and then ultimately, guys with an idea will start robbing people. They'll come up with they'll put gold in the name of the stock. They'll go public and they'll raise a lot of money, and there'll be all sorts of fraud. But all the cycles are the same. But I'll look that up. Yeah, they're going to try to, it's like a mutual fund. They're going to try to hold ZJYL at $1. It's not going to break $1. Look, you can be negative, Dustin. You can totally feel free to be. I don't think anything about the story has changed. Dustin, it boils down to this. All of these stocks have no research. And a lot of them have no real asset that's exciting. They have no institutional following. What they do suffer from is that the criminals, the shorts, just keep selling stocks. They don't have to locate it. They don't have to own it. They don't have to deliver it. And the brokerage firms don't ask for a receipt. They do it through reg show market maker exemption in the United States markets and worldwide for most part. There's 4 tickets. A buy ticket, you need cash to buy and you need the stock. The other side needs the stock. A sell ticket, you sell the stock that you own. A sell short ticket, which is fairly standard, but you have to locate the shares, you have to borrow the shares, and you have to deliver them. And then there's a 4th that was created by the criminals in circa 2008 under Reg Show. It's the market maker exemption. And that's what all these guys come on here, that's what they operate on. We don't need market makers anymore. There aren't any. But under that exemption, they can come sell stock they don't own. They never have to buy it back. And there's no cost. That selling happens, Dustin, over and over, and it never stops. So if there's a long that has a strategy and wants to buy, I don't care if that long is a billionaire. If they run out of money, the selling keeps coming, and it's done by computer, and it just keeps coming. And if the stock went up, they're able to take that profit out, they get it back down. The one reason I look at charts, I notice these algorithms use those pivot points. You break support and it hits another level and then another level. So Dustin, you can be negative, or you can say, you know what? I'm not going to buy any, but I'm going to watch it. Or you can say, I'm going to buy some now. Look, Dustin, I know because you guys wanted me to talk about it, I thought, well, that's fair enough. I have no timing or ideas anymore. No one, because I'm talking to you about it, I'm not hearing about it. But that's the trade-off I made. But I think what's happened, nothing's changed. I think if I had to guess what's happening, those group of guys, no matter how wealthy they are, have moved. There's other shiny objects out there. And so, they're juggling maybe, or they're hitting a tennis. They're like a dog with a tennis ball, and then there's another one thrown and another one. I don't know. But I think as money circulates through some other trades, they're going to come back to ZJYL. And I don't see the pattern yet, but my prediction is ZJYL will snap back just like GDC did and Finger has in the past. I don't yet see the exact pattern to call it right now. It might need a little bit of time. But if you want to get, I'm not a diamond hands guy. If you want to be discouraged, get out, take your losses. I can't tell you it won't go lower, but I believe there's going to be a effort to hold it at $1. It may not hold. When you look at the chart, there's nothing magical about $1. It could go to 75, 50, 25, the next cutoffs. But I don't think that stock has been abandoned. IQD. Okay, we'll watch for that one. Thank you, Dustin, for the $2. I appreciate it. I think I just commented on ZJYL. If I had money, which I don't, I would buy it, fully knowing that it could go to 50 cents. And then I wish I had money there. I also fully acknowledge that if it gets down in the 50, 25 cents range, it might take a long time to recover. We're going into tax loss season. There could be selling. I've explained to you that the criminals just keep selling. But risk reward, I wouldn't make it the biggest position I ever had, but risk reward, I think that can snap back as quickly as a whip on a truculent mule, and it could be $5 in a matter of a day or two. I'm not sure it's going to happen right away, and I don't think it's the one I would do. I've already told you. I think the one I would do first would be either the rail, the RAI, whatever that symbol was. It's got two symbols. That's why I have to look it up. RLAIF on Canada, it's RAIL, or NIXX. I think sexy NIXX, if you've got more than a 2-week time frame, I think sexy NIXX is going to be the one that'll make money for you, and then you can come back here. Let me look at that IQD. ICQ. Yeah, I would say SLV leaps makes sense, Dita, but SLV is an ETF. So if things turn to nightmare down the road, it's not a safe longer term holding. And if your brokerage firm's at risk, every asset you have at your brokerage firm will be seized, like MFS, whatever it's called, securities under Corzine. And so my point is, SLV, the leaps on SLV are trading vehicles, and it could be a 2-year trade, could be a 3-year trade. But if you're looking for something that protects you outside of the system, I would say physical, or by Sprott, physical silver trust. But yes, I think it's worth it if the premiums are low. It's sad how CJYL is down to 1. Very sad how GTI only 5 cents. And so sad GDC only 260. Well, yeah, it's sad. On the other hand, Root's up to 110, and there's other stocks that, it's sad. The only thing I would correct in your sadness, GTII is essentially zero. That trade is gone. We lost, including me, we lost everything we had in it. It's gone. That's over with. And There may be a new trade in GTII, but there's lawyers and receivers who are going to take their cut. There's going to be a new company that comes in. Maybe they're going to take a huge cut, and any new money coming in is going to want to cut. And I don't know. I think it's going to have to be a new investment to make money. I'm not trying to be negative, but it could be exciting. But GTII is a totally busted trade. If you want to get out of GDC, go ahead, and you want to call it a bad trade. I think it's a stock that looks like it's perking up. It did go down like ZJYL did. GDC, I think, went under $1. And I think here, Austin, I called it, I saw a pattern. I said, that stock's about to break out and snap back. And it did. So I think GDC has snapped out. We'll look at the chart. It's consolidating. And I think GDC is going to pay for people's patience. But you got to, it's not financial advice. You got to do your own thing. If you think it's sad, if you think every stock you buy in these corrupt markets where you guys short stock that doesn't exist is going to go straight up. I don't know anything that goes straight up other than the size of your mama's belt. It's so sad. Finger was above 7 last year and has hovered under 2. I think it was great that Finger gave us a chance to sell calls against it at 7, gave us a chance to sell some, take our original money out at 7. And in spite of the fact of upgrading to NASDAQ, all the short selling, the counterfeiting, the collusion, the criminal activity, it's only come down to 2. It's not that bad. Sad to me that Martin Shen with an S said there were hiccups in it. Oh yeah, it's sad. There are hiccups in businesses. I don't know what age you are, but I know that young people today, everything's handed to them on a silver platter. Everyone's special. And everyone graduates the top of the class. And so, yeah, it is sad. But I see that as a trading opportunity, frankly. I don't know if Finger's ready tomorrow to move, but I think somewhere in here, I mean, Finger can go lower. Any stock can go lower. But like I've said many times, I think come through their fourth quarter reporting, I think Finger is on the verge of doubling or tripling your money conservatively and possibly much more. You should have made your donation at $1 to match the ZJYL price of $1. Ha 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 ha. You're a clever guy. You are one clever guy. You are one clever guy. Can't type anything on a $1 super chat. I don't know what super chat is. I wish I could do a 10 cents donation. Lots of laughs. Ha, 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 ha. Austin, you don't have to donate anything to me. Why do you never mention Bitcoin as a way of preserving wealth? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think one of the flaws of Bitcoin is it's digital. So if we go for some reason, we're very close to it. And for those of you who listened to me, I actually read out of one of Professor Stephen Cohen's books about how close the world is to World War III, doomsday clock. And I've always based it on the fact that Hillary lost fair and square, but she had to blame Russia. And I don't know why we've chosen to go to war with Russia. It's almost evil. It's like evil forces have taken hold of our leaders. But an EMP, is that what it is? Could evaporate all of that wealth. On the other hand, I've been told that they've overcome that risk. I'm not totally convinced. I think right now with Bitcoin, you're going to see it break 100,000 if it hasn't already. Everybody's going to be talking about it. There will come a time where they, being the big banksters, will crush it again. I don't know. I wouldn't short it here. No way would I short it. But I have ideas of how to make money in the Bitcoin phenomenon. But you tell me, middle ground. Where do you think it's going to go? To a million? That's 10x. That's 10x. I'm suggesting to you, you could make 10x in NIXX. I'm suggesting to you, you could make 10x in Rail AI. I'm suggesting you can make 10x in Logic. I'm suggesting you can make 10x in GDC, maybe, and others. I'm forgetting all the names. I'm suggesting you can make 3x maybe in Finger without any kick in for covering. So there's ways to do that. But maybe my bias is that I didn't buy Bitcoin when I had the chance. The banks are getting into Bitcoin, so it's all going to be ETFs and everything. Maybe it's sustainable, but Bitcoin's never been tested in a correction. A little bit, but not in a 2008 type correction, or a 2001 or a 1987. I'd like to see how it handles that before I suggest that it preserves wealth. Having said that, I think it's a good trading vehicle. What difference does it make, William, if the story hasn't changed, but the price could be kept down forever? Well, that's true. A lot of these stocks, if they take bad financing, they're toast. Stock after stock after stock. And even good stories, the stock doesn't come up. Because, as you know, Austin, your guys just sell stock that doesn't exist. There comes a tipping point when there's very little risk left, because even if the company needs capital, it's not toxic financing, it's suicidal financing, but they're going to take it because their lawyers tell them to do it. And, it keeps them in the job for another decade. I agree with you. It's not just the story, the dynamic. In fact, the short sellers don't care about the story. Don't care at all. They care about that toxic financing. That gets the avalanche of selling started. They don't care about the story. Look at MULN. Good story. Look at MMAT. Great story. Great story. And look at all the other ones. There are too many to list. Look at the drug companies that are destroyed. No one cares about the stories. It's not about the stories. It's about the dynamics of the markets, which are broken by you guys. Totally broken. And I think people misunderstand what's going on. I think what's going on works up in the big caps, but down in the small caps, you all criminally take advantage of it. And as long as you can come on here and spread FUD, make me look like an idiot, which isn't hard to do. I hope you're not getting paid a lot for that, because it's not hard to make me look like an idiot. That's a good one, Mike French. No no negativity here. You're taking her wrong. Pointing out the price simply because it's a good price tag. All right. Well, I did say both ways. Maybe your ape gave me the impression it was the other. We'll look at a chart maybe after Ham comes on, but the key is that's how I see it. I think we're coming into tax season. They're going to keep selling it down. They're going to hope that it breaks further, and it could. It's just a fact. But I think it's going to snap back like GDC did. I don't. You can look it up, but I think GDC went to 69 cents, and it boom, it just came right roaring back. I think that'll happen. Oh, call him. He's waiting. All right, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Battery 40%. Connected to Bill's iPhone. Call ended.
All right, I called him. But sorry, Dustin, I didn't mean to imply that you were negative. Some people like that guy want to be negative on it. But I agree with your thoughts. It is a good price tag, but it can go lower at any time. But I think the snapback will be like GDC. I don't think he'll put Devin Nunes in SEC, but it's an interesting thought. I think that Countrywide woman will go in, or I have to think who he would put in. I think it's going to be a bad choice. It'll be a woman or a DEI hire. It'll be a bankster. It'll be a bankster. Well, I called him. Eric, thank you. Chris, I called him. 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 Tom, I called him. June, I called him. Thank you, guys. Ham is waiting, 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 Ham is waiting. Chris, I called him. Raymond Sanchez. What's the story? Morning glory. Oh, it's the Iraqi dinar. So did I show my ignorance? So it's Iraq IQ dollar almost. Yeah, okay. Ram requested you call him. He's waiting. I called him. Any word on NIXX? Sexy NIXX. I think it's my number one trade before Christmas. You might, as you see, we might, as we see news, all this was written up in their news stories. We might decide just to hold it till next year. But I think NIXX goes to, I think it's Thanksgiving week. The shorts are going to short. Maybe next week early on, there'll be reasons to short it. I don't know. It's just the nature of it. But I think NIXX goes to 5 based on the chart. Maybe pulls back, goes to 8 based on the chart. Maybe pulls back, goes to 13. Maybe pulls back, goes to 21. Maybe pulls back, goes to 30. Maybe pulls back. And I think it has a real chance to peak out 40, 50, $60 in a spike, maybe $80. I don't know. I think Sexy NIXX, just because of its name, or you could call it NIXX the shorties. I don't know, NIXX the shorts, NIXX the corruption, NIXX on that. I like Sexy NIXX. That's my favorite. But I think you're gonna want to be in Sexy. If you can't wait 2 weeks, it's not the stock to be in. If you can't afford it going up a little bit, teasing you, pulling back, or even maybe having a little bit of, they just announced a financing that implied a lower share price, so that the whales always think, hey, I got a deal, but the market often comes down to touch that price. So if you're not prepared to sit through some volatility, both up and down, you maybe don't want to be in it. But I think within 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to be glad you're there, and you'll never be able to buy it again at $3. And but that doesn't mean you won't be able to buy it cheaper over the next couple of weeks than where it is now. Personally, I'd rather just buy it and be in it, because I think it's going to be really exciting. The chart looks awesome. The news story is awesome. What they're talking about, building $1 billion company. If that happens more quickly, they have very few shares outstanding. I think that is set up, and the chart looks great. I think NIXX is my favorite. This other one, Rail AI, I think will be I don't know, $1.50 within 2 weeks. That one I don't know as much about, but it's the story makes a lot of sense to me. I think GDC, ZJYL, if one of those two works, I think they could run by Christmas, but you don't know. None of this is promised. It's a projection. But I called Ham. I was talking 8 minutes. Yeah, well. Did you call Ham? Yes, I called Ham. I wonder if we called Ham yet. I called Ham. Sunil. My guess is he went on his own call. Devin probably makes more running DJT. Yeah. Morty, I called Ham. Ham is waiting for the Trump address on Naked Shorts. Let's go see if we can find it. I don't see it. I don't see Trump speaking. ZJYL and Finger has cost me a lot. I'm sorry about that. Finger was extraordinarily expensive to me, so I know your feelings. I really do. ZJYL, I have a tiny amount, but I'm losing, but I haven't sold it, so I'm not willing. I'm not willing to. Please don't call him. All right, I did call him. He'll call me back. I know books are us. I called him. He's got to be on the phone or doing something. He'll call me back. Maybe he's ordering something, or maybe he's with his son. All right, it's 1 o'clock. I'll try him again. I did call him. You hear it?
Call ended.
Called him twice now. I don't see that Trump's speaking, but it makes sense that Ham might be waiting for him to say something.
Call from Andy.
Hello? My speaker just went off. Hang on.
No problem.
It dropped off as I was answering.
Battery 40%. Connected to Bills I found.
Okay. You're on.
All right, so again, I'll repeat what I heard before, that people close to Trump saying he's going to address the NIXX short selling issue. And I just don't know a day, what he's going to say, but it's going to happen. I don't know who's going to be in charge of the SEC, But I hear that this is a major issue, and he's going to address it. Let's see what happens. All right. So again, it makes sense for him to do it. He has no choice to do it. I mean, his company's under attack, and there's no reason not to say something. He's not the president yet. He's not sworn in yet, so he needs to address it. You know, I've always said before, and you know, he won the election. So, but when is he going to address it? Well, people that they said they're close to Devin saying he's going to address it. Not close to me, so you can't ask me. But Devin, people are saying it. Someone in their camp. So I look forward to that. That's going to be shortly. Listen, these guys are not getting away from it. Ken Griffin, all these other guys, the guy from Virtue, Jeff Easton, they're all going to get smacked around. The bigger players are going to get a hand slap, but they're going to have to close up these positions. These positions are massive. You know, there's people from AMC and GameStop keep posting all the data on Citadel and their fails to deliver, and Virtue and Citibank. They're massive. You know, these things tick up a little bit. These guys lose billions, and it's, you know, it could actually destroy the whole economy. But they let these guys get this big, so now, you know, the game has to come to an end. And we're not going to have Ken Griffin just making billions of dollars every day and everybody else being broke. That's just not going to happen. All right, so there's your answer on that. I've always told you that I would only play DJT, you know, buying the dip, selling the rip, and then buying some cheap calls. This week is only, what, 4 days? We're off on Thursday, William, so I don't know if Friday's a half a day or a full day. But options expire every week, you know, 35s, 40 calls, what are they, a dime? You risk 10 cents or $10, you know, you buy 100 of them, you know, it's worth a shot sometimes. Because once it happens, it's just going to gap, it's going to go big. So that's the only way I would be playing it. If you bought 1,000 shares of stock at 30, sold it at 30 and a half, you could take the $500 and just go buy some cheap calls and forget about it. If it's going to go, it's not going to go up one, it's going up a lot.
The market closes at 1 p.m. Eastern on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving.
Okay, so it's a half a day on Friday. So again, 3 days this week. Friday's a non-event, but you know, it can still happen on a Friday. But again, so that's the only way I would play that. Finger motion is an option that doesn't expire, so I wouldn't be, there's not much thought process into that. If you're going to buy it, you buy it. The options are basically garbage anyway. If it's going to go, if you bought the stock at 2 and sold it at 3, you could buy the 5s probably in a quarter, and you forget about it then. That's the way to play it. This going back to the dividend, the CEO said mid-December, so you're talking around December 15th. Between now and December 15th, William, I think it's only 12 trading days until the 15th. I don't want to do a countdown. You know, I don't want to put the company on notice. You got to do it today, tomorrow. You know, the company's doing what they have to do. And he said mid-December. So mid-December is December 15th. I cut it in half. Pretty easy. Jeff Easton and these guys are sitting here. They're shitting their pants. They don't know what to do. They have to make a move sooner or later on what they want to do, what they want to accomplish here. Either A, start covering. All right, because once you start covering, at least you're admitting the crime and you're trying to make it better. You're trying to close it up, right? If you do nothing, you're going to jail for a long time, just because you're defrauding everybody. If you start covering it up, at least you're showing them, hey, I'm trying to make good here, and I ran out of money. When you run out of money, it's like a credit card company. Credit card companies give you a credit card, they let you hang yourself, but you're unsecured debt, right? In the stock market, these guys know that these guys cannot meet that margin call, and they have limited capital. Once it goes up, the brokerage firms or the prime broker is responsible. So if they let them get blown out, it's their problem too, because they're giving them the leverage. So, I mean, these guys are just hanging themselves. The system is completely rigged. Everybody knows about it. how they keep trying to hold it down is just amazing. And you know, I don't know what to say about it, Wayne. It's beyond me by this point. Everybody knows about it. Everything on Twitter is about naked short selling and going after whether it's TLP or AMC, GameStop. When you name it, it's basically the whole thing is out of control. So as long as you understand that, I told you about what I heard about MLSS. I own it at $1. I'm here in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be exciting and good for us. So if you care, you care. If you don't, no big deal. That's all I know about it. You know, we've been hearing a big government contract that will be a game changer. Hopefully that's it. That's all I know. So there's no questions about that. GDCs, DJYL, all kind of went to sleep without doing anything right now. I wait for them to turn before I jump into them. So I'm standing on the sideline on those things. Do you have any questions, Wayne?
Yeah, there's questions. Maybe the same thing. Where's the money going to come to buy all these naked shorts? The Fed?
Why does it have to come from the Fed?
I don't know. He's just answering his own question.
Well, go look at Goldman Sachs' what their stock is trading at. They can sell some more shares to raise capital to take in the losses. They just lost $1 billion in a battery company in Norway or some nonsense, right?
Yeah.
How does it work? These guys lose money. That's it. They have to go out and raise money. That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
When you're in the game, you have to have access to money. You want to risk the game, you got to have access to raise money.
Once the finger motion finishes this audit, will the SEC start another 45-day clock?
No. Listen, these dividends are common. It's not like they're doing something that's not common. The only reason it's not common is because no one does it.
Did you see Kodak today? It's up 20%.
Where is it? No, I did not.
I don't know.
It was 5.25, so 20% was it to 10 cents?
Let me look if you need me to give you a price. I didn't look it up. Let me see.
Kodak has over 1 billion shares short, and I think $6.18 is where it got to the last time, and that's where it fell.
It's 658 right now.
Get out of here.
658 up $1.31. 5 million shares.
500,000 shares. I got to make sure he sees it and start selling. I have to call you. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, call him. I'm here.
It's a big money manager. I want to make sure.
Call him.
All right, goodbye.
Tell him to buy MLSS for some of the people.
Call him then.
Well, you see where we stand. If he has that many shares, that's a $500,000 profit. Oh boy. The money comes, it comes first out of the broker dealers, then they just buy it. And then there's a debit. They worry about the debit the next day. And it goes through the various organizations, but basically it's the brokerage system that will pay it. And if there's no money there, we don't have a stock market. It'll be the federal government. Bill Wong got 18 years. Must have been threatened, his family. Yeah, I don't know. I bet he could have been put up for life, and he made a deal. They put Bernie, what's his name, in for life. It'll probably be in courts. That's true. Crypto is the future. I don't know. Crypto may be the future, but how do you make money in it? I mean, it's frothing up again, and you're going to see so many crypto stories, and then in 10 years, 5 years, there'll be a crash at some point, and 2 out of 30 will still exist. I don't feel I can help you with crypto. You guys know a lot more about it than I do. Bernie got 150 years, and he did the best he could. He did the best he could. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not telling you not to do it. It's $100,000. Do you think it goes to 200? You can double your money. I don't know. I think it's a huge. I'll ask Ham what he thinks, but I think it's a huge risk. But you know, maybe it's just inevitable. It has to get to 1 million or 10 million. It's the answer to all our prayers. I'd rather buy something that hasn't made highs. Silver has not made a high. And apparently platinum hasn't either. These are things to own. Oil, I don't think oil has either recently. So I don't know. It's just risk reward. But you could well be right. I just don't have the quid. I'd rather buy something that could make $100,000 than put 100,000 into something that could be worth. It could go to 120 and then be worth 63 for another 3 years. I don't know. Well, that's right. I think that makes sense. Crypto could become attractive. I'd be more interested if everybody got negative on crypto. And I did subscribe to his service for a couple of years, bought some books on it, and I lost interest because I got into this, but also I just didn't have the money. But I'll sign up again, and I think there's a couple of alternative coins or whatever you call them that make a lot of sense to me. There's one for contracts. I'm forgetting is it Luna? I don't know if that's it, but it made a lot of sense. So you could build contracts, get rid of all the banksters out there because you just have the contracts and the doc. I can't even explain it because I'm not fluent in it. But it made a lot of sense to me. I think there's opportunities. But if you think the banks came in it with ETFs, not to FUX with it, they're in it to screw with it. And they love all the excitement of people putting up money, and then they'll take it down, take that money off.
Andy.
They sell the rip by the dip. Hello? Oh, hang on it. Darn it. It drops off. Hang on. It's almost like an EMP.
Battery 40%. Connected to Phil's iPhone.
William?
Yeah, there you are. Yep.
All right, so I had this guy long 500,000 Kodak.
What a nice trade.
He's selling it at 7. He's going to start working at it at 7. He said, "Thank you very much. I got him in."
So he'll make 1 million smackers.
Yep. And he thanked me because he never traded the stock, but he accumulated it when I told him to do it. He's probably been there 6 or 7 months, and just he made cashed out. Nice. That's a good play for $2.5 million.
That's buying the dip, selling the rip.
Listen, it just shows you that. I had another client a friend of mine, who manages money, and he sold it. He broke even on it, and he sold it. He broke even on it.
Well, that's good, I guess.
No, he said, "Listen,
if that's what he wanted." Yeah.
He didn't want to wait. That's how it goes in this game. Sometimes you gotta move quick. Sometimes you gotta just let the time. Just look at finger motion. We all know it sucks. We've been watching it. We've been documenting it. How are the crooks still standing here? Time is the killer. People get older. People have family issues. You name it, and that's what the crooks are banking on, that people are going to give up because of time. But I think people have done a great job of holding on and believing, and I think that it's going to work out big time for us. I keep looking, what's the negative part here? There is no negative part. I keep saying, if it was a $20 stock, I'd be concerned. It's not a $20 stock. They already beat it up, and now they basically used all their bullets, and they don't know what to do with it now. So now they're just doing these 100 shares, watching trades, you name it. They're doing every novice trick in the book from the short side. They're doing, and they're trying to do on us. Watching trades, selling it back and forth, fixed, you name it. They're doing it, and the clock's run out. I told you, anyone who's short the stock of DJT, the most powerful man in the world now, and he was voted in, so I don't even understand who in their right mind is still short that stock. But if they catch anybody illegally short that stock, the president should have them executed, because it's basically, they're just committing crimes. It's just amazing. Besides the assassination attempts, which is proven that they shorted before, and how no one's ever even stopped it yet. Who is behind it? I don't know, but whoever it is needs to be shut down. At least we know the criminals in FNGR. We got this, I was just laughing. I heard a comedian saying his dad was in jail for 480 months, which is like 40 years. That's what Jeff Easton's going to be telling his family. I'm only going away for 480 months. They don't count the days. They use months. So again, he deserves it. These people are standing here, given the opportunities to close out positions to get away from it, and yet they continue to manipulate. To me, that is the biggest criminal offense of the whole thing. We all got it. There's a loophole, and you were navigating through it and robbing people. We got it. But the cat's out of the bag, and to continue doing it is just insane that they continue to do it. Does anyone have any questions, Lynn?
Yeah. You talked about MLSS already. And now we talked about Kodak. This company, SAVA, I guess their testing failed. One guy's asking, is it worth it to buy? I would say no if the test failed.
Listen, a lot of these companies come back from a failed test, but do you really want to be here for let it play out first?
Let it play out. And I think there's going to be higher opportunity costs now as some of these other stocks start trading. So,
wasn't that stock just up like $2 or something like that the other day?
Yeah, I was just trying to look it up before you. And then there's, yeah, it went up, I guess. No, I don't know. It went up. It must have had a reverse or something because it's at 30. It went up to 34 and now it's down to 25. I thought it was.
They had to do a reverse.
They had to do a reverse. It's gone sideways basically. So maybe they got more going on, but
Do your homework on it. Do it upon yourself and do what you got to do.
I don't know what to say. There's a related stock somebody asked about, AVXL. AVXL. They have an Alzheimer's drug, and I don't know if you haven't heard about it. We won't get stuck on it. I'm just checking if you have.
I don't have. I have a sheet with all stocks at home. I don't have.
Okay, all right, and then yeah, I guess those were those questions.
And don't you find it amazing that finger motion's always in the same spot, trying to hold it down below? They're trying to hold it below 2 now. I keep telling you that, you know, that number I keep putting up there, $2.30. You know that number's dropping down to 2.25 soon.
Right.
That's just look how it's condensed. It's like you know, it's getting ready to explode out of here because they can't. They're closing the spread themselves. The real short and the naked short, and basically the cost to carry is eating them alive. William, I put up a couple of stories from Deep Capture this morning. And if you take a look at it, you can see it. Pat Byrne talks about the cost to carry an overstock and how eventually it kills them. Basically, what I was telling you, it basically eats them alive. After a while, it doesn't pay to be there. We're on a race against the clock, so is the short seller. How's that? I'll put it that way.
Wow, Kodak has been that trade. That's great that it's breaking out. It looks good, but it's been so sideways pretty much.
It's been going sideways, just like finger motion is going sideways, and then it's going to go.
Yeah.
The same pattern. The same pattern. I know the patience is there. Everybody wants to win and cash out. I got it. We all want to do that. And the shorts know that also. And that's why they go. And that's why they drag it out as much as they can. They want William to come out and sell 2,000 shares and give up, and then another guy sell 1,000 and just keeps, and it unwinds. That's what they want. But the company's not in front of the FDA, so there's no event like that happening. The company's got business they're doing. The company's filing for the dividend, right? As soon as the audit's complete in December. It's all positive. Just remember the dividend. What makes this dividend different than all the other ones? These guys are going to wake up and be 10% short overnight. 10% more. 230 million, that means they're going to be short 23 million more shares overnight. Think about that for a second, William. And their cost on that is going to be zero, so they don't make any money. They're short 23 million shares, and they don't make any money because they never sold anything. They're just short. The company's giving it to you. The company's giving it to you. Think about that for a second. And then, William,
Yeah, I'm here.
when the stock goes up, they have a margin call, 23 million shares. The prime broker is going to demand for them to put up. Let's say the stock, the warrant opens up at 50 cents.
Right.
The broker is going to say to them, "Hey, that's fantastic. You short 23 million shares, but guess what you have to do? You're going to have to put up $3 a share. 23 million times $3 you got to put up as margin money." Think about that for a second.
They're going to sit there and say, wait a second, we got to put up $60 million. We didn't even short this thing. Well, you're short because you're short the stock and now you're short the warrant. So the prime broker demands they have money to back that short position. It could be $2, it could be $5. We don't know. Now, if the warrant opens up at 10 cents to 50 cents, every time it trades up 10 cents from zero, they lose 10 cents times 23 million shares, 2.3 million every dime.
Wow.
At 50 cents, they're down about 11 to 12 million dollars, right?
Wow.
So they're going to have to put up that money, plus the margin money, plus what's going on in finger motion. And as you can see in finger motion, they are sucking wind on the coming to the table with more shares for sale. We haven't had that big run where the buyers come piling in. And by the way, my friend, when he sells his Kodak, will be piling in. I can't guarantee that, but that's what he told me.
That's up to 669.98.
Where is it?
669.98. So it's 670. 670.
Oh, so, all right. I told you he was going to come in when it gets to 7. He'll start selling. But that's how Wall Street works. I go to big people and try to give them ideas and help them make money. When they make money, they come back and help us. Pretty easy. The thing is, you have to have a Rolodex of people that you can actually call. And it just so happens, Jeff Easton, if you're listening, I have a nice Rolodex of very, very good people. Some people that can help us, some that can't, but they all want to see us succeed, which is good.
Do you think if 2 questions on the dividend, could they do some sort of blockchain warrant or?
Yeah, I see that where Pat Byrne talks about that. I would say do this one first and then go back to the blockchain at T0 second.
And then how likely if the warrant, when it's approved and issued, is it that it will cause an instant margin call?
Well, just remember this. We're going against January 20th where Trump's going to be sworn in, right? So these guys are dealing with Trump, new sheriff in town at the SEC, and they're going to have problems with the margin. There's so many things that can happen. I think it can go in any second. Look at Kodak. I've been waiting 6 months for it to go. I didn't even know it moved. I was at home. I wasn't even looking. But I spoke about Kodak every day. William was with me when I walked around D.C. telling
Oh,
people,
yeah.
right?
We went into Elise Stefanik's office.
Right, and I told him.
I looked on the map. She had this huge congressional district, massive.
So I've been pitching this for a long time, and here it is. I know it's not, everybody wanted to have it, to buy it on, everyone wanted to buy it like on Friday and sell it today on Monday at 1.5, but that's just not how it works. I told you, it's like candid camera. When you least expect it, that's when they go. My personal opinion, okay, is that finger motion is going to go any second. That's how I feel. I've been saying it for a while, but again, no one tells you when they're going to go. Look at GameStop. It was breaking 20, and now it's 29. It hit 29 something today. Why is it going? I don't know. Did he buy Bitcoin? I don't know. Something's going on. Someone knows something. And there's your answer. Someone knows something because that's why the stock's been moving up. I'm sure whatever fundamental story they're working on, they're just beginning to work on it. It's so funny that Finger Motion's been working on new fundamental things, but doesn't get any credit for the stock to move up at all. It makes believe like they just put out press releases that don't mean anything. But unlike, a GameStop has a worldwide audience. Finger Motion does not have the worldwide audience.
Finger motion to me is the better upside play at this point than GameStop. GameStop has a ton of money, but they also have to spend it to build a business. So let's see what they build. I told him he should open up a brokerage firm and forget doing anything else. That's what I would do. He should buy Bitcoin and open a brokerage firm. And don't do anything else. Don't create any jobs. Don't do anything. Do exactly and show the government that, hey, you know what? We get all this money. We're not hiring anybody. We're not helping the economy. Unless you do the right thing. If you're going to do the right thing and settle trades, then we'll buy companies and hire people to work. That's what companies need to say. We were going to hire 50 people, but because the government can't settle a trade, we will not hire anybody. Hey, William, how's your gout feeling?
Swell. Actually, it's in the stage that it's getting better. But
Tough getting old, boy. It gets tough.
you know, I've had it for it's a nightmare. Jeff Easton and the others don't seem scared at all.
That's what they all say when they take him off to jail. I'm innocent. I didn't do anything. Listen, everyone. Make believe you're Jeff Easton. What are you gonna do? Not one person's giving you right. Give me an answer. What are you gonna do?
How low did GDC go? Was it 69 cents?
60-something cents.
Yeah, and then it snapped back. There's quite a bit of negativity on ZJYL, but guys, you don't have to keep it, buy it, whatever. But what happened with GDC at a point, you could see it on the chart that it was about to go. I'm not sure it's there yet on this one, but anyway, you don't have to put all your money in one trade. You don't have to be diamond.
Listen, just look at we tell you about different names for a reason, because there's some smart people that are playing these things behind the scenes. That's it, and you have to pick the spot that you think is going to make it work. I don't know the day it's going to go. GDC, I had no idea. The only thing that saved my ass in GDC was averaging down, and I happened to catch it near the low.
ZJYL was a terrible bust. Okay, if you sold, that was it. My opinion, I don't have any money, but in my opinion, I would be trying to buy it here, knowing that it could go lower. But I would be buying it here. But that's what makes a market. To you, it's a bust. It's a terrible bust. I'm sorry about that. The problem with crypto is a hacker somewhere. Yeah, somebody asked me to ask you what you think of Bitcoin.
Oh, I have no idea.
This guy points out to us, and I appreciate it, ZJYL is 96 cents. Thank you. Do government officials have immunity on this short selling? I think FINRA has blanket immunity. I don't know about SEC.
I don't know.
Is Jeff Easton giving up people? I don't know about that.
We don't know.
Just hold and hope. I don't like that idea, holding and hoping. If you look at ZJYL and just decide, I don't want to sell it here because I still think the story's there. Okay. But I think you should also consider, if I'm holding it, why don't I average down? But if you don't have money, all you can do is just keep the original position. And, that's how it is until you're rich as Rockefeller. X might use XRP on their platform. That'd be huge. I like buying things. I'm like Ham. I like buying things when you know it's got a good story, but everyone gives up on it. When everyone is telling the story and you could go down and get your shoes shined and the guy will tell you, hey, buy it. I'm more interested in stories where
Nobody
nothing.
was talking about Kodak but me.
Right, there's one.
No one even mentioned the word Kodak but me. I even posted the data on Kodak a couple of times. It was over 1 billion shares.
I used a Kodak back in the 70s.
How many people know what their old symbol was?
EK.
That's it.
How many
I just
people
think
know that
nobody's
it was, I think it was one of the Nifty 50. And that's back when, oh, these stocks are never going to collapse. They all did. They're all gone. How's your burrito?
I'm having Wendy's. I'm sorry. I go between therapy and running around. I have to eat something. So I'm sorry. It's the only time I have.
Well, in 20 minutes, I'm going to get off because I have to get on a conference call. But
Does anyone have any questions? Shoot away. Let's go. Rapid fire. Knock them out.
I took a chance. TFFP. This guy wishes he had bought MLSS. A couple of guys asked, did they miss what you said about MLSS? Maybe you
I
can
paid
say.
I paid $1.01 for it. It went to 65 cents. It's turned back up to 80. I'm here in the next couple of weeks. The big contracts are coming and the stock should take off. That's what I know. That's it.
Big contracts. Okay. All I can say on that one is I met Ham's source on that story. He's a reliable guy. He knows the market. And if he's going to make a recommendation, I think it's a bona fide one. Is Anson Fund or Savvy Management known to Ham for being short sellers? They both
But you
hold.
got short selling.
Yeah.
They both got caught short selling.
Yeah.
Anson Fund was paying people like Hindenburg to write the stories. Come on, read the story.
Did you go see the musical The Jerky Boys? Jersey Boys.
Yes, I did.
SMSCI is going to be huge. That sounds like a chip company. Ham is a jerky boy. I don't know what jerky boy is.
There were guys who made prank phone calls, and they're very good. If you give me a tank, I'll sell the fucking tank. How's that one? Does the guy know that one?
I kind of remember that now that you mention it.
That's
They had
very
one
funny.
where they called the horse race. That was hilarious. Let me see if there's anything else here. Yeah, you answered MLSS. Someone was asking about Bill Wong, 18 years, and pointing out that Bernie Madoff got 150. Do you think Bill Wong is giving up people, giving out?
What do you think? He said
It's not my
they
question.
all doing it.
Not my question.
The question is, if you're a billionaire, what are you trying to steal? Why would these guys continue? You're a billionaire. How much more do you need?
Well, Elon's almost a trillionaire. I'm not going to quit till I'm richer than he is.
But he doesn't seem to care about anything. He works all the time. He's not out here trying to steal money. These guys are
No,
stealing
he's
money.
not. He's not trying to steal.
Right.
I think he has a strategy to beat Apple. If that works, oh my gosh. And the batteries are the key. And if he makes that work, do you know who's going to replace Gensler?
No, I do not. If Pat Byrne wasn't riddled with cancer, he would be our guy. But he's not feeling well. I don't know how, if it is cancer, he's beat it 4 times, and he keeps saying his health. That's the only reason that he's not here, because Pat Byrne hates the short sellers. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to be brought in some capacity to advise on this whole thing. Think about Pat Byrne, what he's done for the country. No one gives him any credit. Not that he's looking for it, but he's still on Twitter, exposing people, calling them traitors. He's ratting out everybody.
Well, he spent $30 million. I guess he got it back, but he spent it. He didn't know he was going to get it back, proving this shit out. So I feel like he did the heavy lift.
I posted a story today that I don't think anyone's read. Go look at my post. I highlighted a few things. He understands the whole thing inside and out. And listen, everyone gets too complicated with this stuff. It's basically one thing. If you sell a share and do not deliver it, you need to be charged with fraud, because it's basically, if you don't own the stock, what right do you have selling it? I don't believe people are making mistakes saying, "Oh, I sold 1 million shares of the stock because I thought I owned it." That's not happening. That's what Jeff Easton's doing. Whoops, I sold 1 million shares of the stock. No one asked me for it, sell another 1 million. That's what he does. And when he gets caught, he's going to jail for a long time. He's done this many times. This isn't his first rodeo in finger. This guy's done it a lot. He's probably has the wire fraud. He's sending the money to Australia. I put the thing up in the newspaper where the guy from Australia, Hancock, says he's up 220%. Well, that means that his money's coming from where? Jeff Easton. Where's Jeff Easton taking it? From everyone's pocket on his phone. So our money's going to Jeff Easton, and he's sending it out to the guy in Australia. So basically, he's stealing, wire fraud. He's doing everything fraudulent you could possibly get your hands on, this guy. And he's done it plenty of times. Hey, William, I talked about Root the other day. How it spiked to 110. The shorts keep covering it. They let it drop. Well, today it spiked to 113, and it was up a couple of bucks. Now it's down. But this trend of this stock, I'm not telling you to trade it, because you got to have real balls of steel to trade this thing, is that they drop it real fast, and it turns and it's going back the other way. That's somebody covering. That one had a big short too. I had the data on that one too. I actually sent it to Jim Jordan.
Hmm.
Anything else? I can tell you this. I'm going to have a good stock pick in the next couple of weeks. That someone that has got something good, and they sort of referred to me already. I've not purchased it, and I'm waiting for some of these other things to pan out. But potentially a good, solid, fundamental play. No short squeeze nonsense. So when I hear it, when it's ready, I'll let you know. But it's not ready yet.
Do you think the shorts are trying to get a reverse split on ZJYL? I don't.
No. That makes no sense. Listen, the people that own ZJYL, there's big groups of people that owned it. They did a forward split because they needed more shareholders. The stock was $300. If you owned it, why did you let it go to 300 if you wanted to sell it? They didn't sell it, right? They let the forward split happen because they wanted to maintain their NASDAQ qualification, and they didn't sell it. So those people who owned it are long 20 times more shares. So if they didn't sell it at 300, why are they selling it down here? I don't believe they are. And I think that just based on that 20-for-1 forward split, that this thing is going to have another leg. When is it going to happen? I don't know. So I'll watch it, and when it's time, then hopefully I can get a scoop on it. We can get it. That's all I know. Just so you understand, like a stock like MLSS, a fund, a Vanguard, somebody sold 500,000 shares, they wanted to sell it, and they sold it. That's what it looks like. But in that panic, even in my eyes, I was like, who the fuck is selling it? Until you get your hands around it and figure it out. Say, okay, someone sold it, fuck them, and move on. That's how it works. Someone sold Kodak on Friday, and it's up, what, 1.5 today? That's what happens, my friends. Yeah, the high was 671 at Kodak. Did they just invent a new camera? What did they do today?
They're getting into crypto.
Ah, there you go. I told you, the stocks have the strangest movement. When a short panics, this is what it looks like. They got a cover. This is what it looks like. That's it. No one's got anything to say. Come on, it's a long weekend. Let's go.
I can't. I seem to have lost. Oh, there it is. I couldn't read any questions. It's now 37 and ready to move higher. I don't know which one this is. I don't know. Oh, maybe you're talking about the crypto.
Oh. What, XYP?
Do you know Zena? Z-E-N-A?
No.
Traded 39 million shares. If you had a grand,
What's that, Wayne?
if you had a grand and already owned ZJYL, Finger, GDC at good prices, would you buy more of any one of those, or would you buy MLSS?
It's a good question. I think I'd rather wait for that gentleman who's asking that question. He's
For your other stock, for your new stock?
No, it's not ready yet. The MLSS, I think that, let's say the news comes out and it jumps to $1.30, from 80 cents to $1.30. The stock could be up almost 50%, right? I think you'll get a chance to buy it once you see the news. Like I can't tell you the news because I don't know what it is yet.
On MLSS, yeah.
We know it's about the Epidural. We know it's a big contract. What's the dollar amount? This. I mean, you can figure it out from that point.
You'll have time to buy it. They'll probably sell it off regardless.
That's it's if like, for example, Finger Motion to me has more upside than, Apple and NVIDIA with their new chips and everything because the short squeeze. potential is enormous. You know, it's not going out of business. So I always look for things that are upside. You obviously want to get back and get even on a lot of things and make some money. And you got two underwater and finger motion non-performing right now. I think you wait for the news in MLSS and see what it is. And then you could determine, say, hey, you know what, this is a massive contract. They're going to make, you know, $200 million and that multiplied by this and this. You can figure it out. Say, hey, this stock is worth $10. Why is it trading at $1.50? In which case you could pay $1.50 and you'll sell it at $5. You miss 50 cents, but you make $5. I don't know. That's the way I look at it. Finger motion or these stocks like a DJT, these things have an explosive potential due to security fraud in the market. Very different games.
I think Gary Gensler wants to go to prison. Okay. Do you see these plays running after Trump gets in or before?
I think that the place to be is out of the big cap names into the small cap names. Find your own poison. I think there's plenty of opportunities. I think the bad guys are going to get bad news. And when they get the bad news, stocks like Virtue, I think the brokerage firms are going to come in. They're shorts because the liability is going to sit with them. I don't believe this whole thing is going away and it's all make-believe.
Bought more ZJYL and Finger today. Seems reasonable. Easton and Group are kinning things up and going to flee the United States. 56 days.
I would be surprised if that fat fuck has been moving stuff for a while. You know, you're talking about going to jail for a long time. They can't get out of it. Everything they're doing is illegal. They know it. And whoever thought that all this shit would come down, we needed Trump to win, then they're shorting Trump stock. They made it worse themselves.
Right.
Remember, we were just a band of gypsies yelling this stuff. Then what do we drag in? Devin Nunes, Donald Trump, everybody's here now. Charlie Payne yelling, where's Esther Pierce? Hey, where are you? Pierce, whatever her name is. They're all, the head of enforcement quit. The head of the SEC's quitting. The commissioner quit. I mean, you talk about an agency on the fire. Oh my goodness. This shit's hitting the fan every direction here. And I know it hasn't moved into your stock yet, but there's 10,000 stocks out here. It moved into Kodak stock, that's for shit sure.
Let me see where that's trading.
I don't have to look at it anymore because my one client knows about it and he's going to start selling at 7, so it's good enough for me. I got a bunch of small people in here that I can pull the trigger on any time, but I'll let today.
Hey, boy.
I don't understand how DJT stands here. I told you I would buy cheap calls every week. Here, you bought 2 of them. And as soon as you get any news, every time they say something, the stock runs $4, right?
Right.
It may drift back down, but it runs $4. So if you bought an option, if you buy 10 options and it runs, you sell half of them, cover your costs, and you got a free shot. If it goes to 0, it goes to 0. That's how it works. What else, Liam? Where is Big Emotion at right now? I don't even know where it is.
What's the difference between exercising a warrant and selling?
You can sell it, so you don't have to go through the process. Let's say the warrant goes one bid. You got 1,000 shares. You can just sell the warrant at one, and you're done. You don't have to do anything. If the stock runs to 100, would you be selling your warrant at a discount? No, you would exercise and take the price of the stock instead. There's going to be discrepancies. So, there's an arbitrage between the two. Listen, Pat Byrne talks about it in his article, which I posted. The dividend was the key to the whole thing. I've been yelling about dividends for a long time. And he said he needs a CEO that has the guts to fight through it. Finger Motion has that CEO. And he's standing tall. William did the interview with him. You saw it. It's not us making it up. He knows what's going on.
Do you think DJT January 70 calls at $1.25 makes sense?
No, get out of it. Is it 70s or $1?
That's what he says.
No, I would never do that.
Maybe he didn't mean to type 70.
No, I would never do that. You need 71 to break even.
Does it put pressure on the shorts to exercise the finger warrants?
Would it put pressure on them?
Yeah.
The pressure on the short is going to be the margin out of the gate. Just think about it.
I would say if your brokerage firm is honest, it might, but if it's not honest, nah.
No, they can't hide that. That's too big of a mess. Listen, the warrant can go up by itself and kill them and force them to cover the short of the stock.
Mm-hmm.
Once they go broke and they have no money,
They go woke?
game ends. Once they go broke, it's over with.
They go woke.
I told you 1,000 times. If they thought they can win, they let the stocks go up. And for people thinking they're going to sell it down to zero because they think they can win, how stupid is that saying that I just said to you? Let it go up. Why would you sell it lower if you thought you could win? Let it go higher. The only reason they sell it lower is because they can't win. And they're telling you they can't win. And you keep saying, well, it's going lower. Well, it doesn't make a difference. Kodak was going lower and it turned right around. DJT was down to $12. What was the news that made it go up? Donald Trump was going to win? Well, he won. The stock went straight down. This whole thing is based on shorts. When they cover, when they panic. That's all it is. All this other nonsense, it doesn't make a difference. And I can't believe that the people with Lynn Partners, these guys, they're on life support as it is. Most of the buying today was just wash trades back and forth. They did it in the opening. The stock traded 70,000 shares at about 9:35. It's already traded that many shares. What is it trading? 100,000 now? Whatever it is. 112. So all the volume was fake this morning. They had a fail to deliver, so they sell it back and forth to buy more settlement time. That's what they did. All they do is keep costing themselves money. Everything they do costs money. Everything. And each day that goes on, they lose. You may think they're winning, but they only win when they cover their stock. They can't cover. And if they were so smart, why did they let the stock go up? I would have the stock at 10 bid, 12 bid. Come and get it, suckers. It's going to be a short squeeze. But they can't. They can't even let it go past $2.30. And I hope everyone saw that when it ran to 240. How fast did they push it back down to 2? Talk about a panic. They have basically told everyone who watches the stock that they're fucked. If you don't understand that, there's nothing more I can say to you. That trading pattern shows you how screwed they were. It was right there. You don't need someone to tell you. It's right there. The trading action tells you that they were screwed. If the shorts in root were so powerful, why did they jam the stock from 40 to 120? Right? We don't lose. Why would we take it? Let's take it up. They didn't take it up. They got called in. That's why. Listen, this whole thing's going to unwind. All this offshore hiding short positions that FINRA, the NASDAQ have no right to see. That's all coming to an end. You can't allow this to continue. I'm just trying to look here, Williams. Anything else? I'm just looking at MLSS. Someone sold 500,000 shares down to 65 cents. Now it's 82. Who is that dummy? Well, that's a fund that wants out. That's how it looks. And these are the things that you have to understand in trading. When you see that pattern, what does it mean? Well, there's the pattern. Someone wanted to sell for whatever reason they were. They got out, and it made it look ugly. I was furious, like, what the hell's going on here? I didn't know. But then you have to try to figure out and get your answers. And I made a decision, instead of dumping it, running, then you shot, the stock is no good, like most people would say, correct? I would say it also. But I got the scoop, and I said, okay, someone just wanted to sell, they're out, and now the stock is rebounded 15 cents already. So instead of being down almost 40 cents, I'm down, 19, 20 cents now, at 81 or 82 to 101. Right? Instead of panicking out, I stood tall and I waited. I hear people all the time, oh, this stock is a scam, it's a pump, blah, 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 blah. They have no idea what they're talking about. How can you tell when someone's pumping a stock or someone's shorting it? You can tell when they're shorting it, you can see the trading pattern. When you pump a stock, you got to get people to buy it. You know how hard it is to get people to put up money to go buy a stock? Good luck.
Would you buy the DJT 100s at 75 cents?
No, I would buy the weekly calls at 10 cents. Whatever the 36s, the 35s, those options for 10 cents. You can buy those 10 times and not spend $1. Those options, I'd rather buy the stock and sell those calls. And take in the $1. That means if I buy the stock at $30 and the stock goes to 100, I'm covered up to a 101. After it gets to 101, that's where I don't make any more money because I'm sort of hedged. But are you kidding? I go from 30 to 101. I make $70 plus your one. Who's better than that? Nothing else, William? I don't want to keep you. You got to do a call, you said.
Yeah. They haven't called.
They haven't called yet? All right, listen, again, I'm an open book. You want to hear? Give me text me on, reach out on Twitter. I'll answer your questions if I can. Listen, I'm not in the business of hearing any abuse from anybody. You got to gripe. I put a truck in front of the SEC 15 times. I called out the criminals 15,000 times. I've done everything I can. It's your U.S. government that is basically not doing their job. The SEC in particular with FINRA, the DTC, the New York Stock Exchange, they're all full of shit. They've all done nothing. They allow these big parties to make all the money. They allow people offshore to making the money. Switzerland, people making the money. Everyone's stealing the money out of the U.S. by naked short selling. How they allow it to go on one more minute is, I can't believe it. That tells me one thing, that these people that have sold these shares, they're so screwed because Trump is going to get them, because they know the economic value of getting these stocks marked back up. Everybody knows that when the stocks go up, people make money, people will spend money, and it turns the economy, right? What do you think? They're going to let these offshore hedge funds from all over the world just keep looting the U.S.? South Korea stopped it. Where's our government? They have to stop it also. And the best thing that's happening to us is that they keep fucking around with DJT. Excuse my French. Just Google Devin Nunes naked short selling. Go read the headlines, what he says. We're going to punish the short sellers. We're going to get the short sellers. We're going to get the naked short sellers. That's what he keeps saying, right? It's right there. That's because their critical mistake is that these guys went after DJT. I don't know why they went after him, but they pressed their bet. Maybe they thought he was the only way who would stop this nonsense. And that's what their problem was. They needed to knock him out. But he won the election, which they probably tried to rig. And now he's in charge. And now he's a full head of steam coming down the road. And 100%, he knows about it. I had a friend that gave something to Trump himself. He told me he knows about it. He knows who we are. He knew about that. We have people that are tied to Devin Nunes. Absolutely, he's been versed, trained, everything about naked short selling from people that I know. His press releases tell you that he's going after the short sellers. So it's all right there. Anything else? MLSS ticked down from 82 to 80. I better go reevaluate my position now. People, when you find a stock that you believe in, you put 2% energy to it. You can't watch it all day. One gentleman asked me, how come I don't trade every day? Because I do not want to be glued to the machine. Life is too short to sit here all day. Me making $2,000 a day is not going to change my life. I really don't give a shit about the money anymore. All right, it's nice to have a winning position. I got it. I know I have it in finger motion. I'm going to stick with it. And I know I have it. Instead of running around chasing all these names, I could talk about it all day long, but I haven't been in front of my computer all day. I had things to do. I had to go get therapy for my knee. I got to go to the doctor's appointment to look at my knee. That's life. Unfortunately, as you get older, that's what happens. When I was younger, I sat in front of my computer from 7 in the morning, trading pre-market until 5 o'clock at night. Then we went out drinking and we talked about stocks all night and got ready to go again the next day. I don't do that anymore. Most people I know don't do it anymore. The people that are doing it are novice people that are grinding themselves in, or they're trying to sell you a service on Twitter telling you, sign up, you get the best trades all day. Good luck with that. If everybody was so great at trading all the time, they'd be doing it. Why do they need to get $10 from you a month? Do your homework. You can learn. There's people that give you free information all the time. Take your time, understand it, and that's how you make a decision. When you buy a stock, don't go all in. If you're going to buy 1,000 shares, you buy 250, 250, 250, 250. You average in. You may get an average of, instead of paying $1, you may get an average in of 70 cents. If I did that in MLSS, my average would have probably been 75 cents on the way down, right? Or maybe 80 cents. The stock is 80 cents. I would have been even. Instead, I've made it all $1.01, and I'm upside down. See how it works? If I average myself in, instead of rushing in, I would have did much better, meaning that my loss right now would have been less. I would have owned it at 80 cents versus $1. So 20 cents, you know, are a pretty sizable position, a lot of money.
Why don't you talk about mutual funds and bonds? These other stocks
yeah.
like Finger seem risky.
Mutual fund. Oh, you never lose in a mutual fund.
Never.
Oh,
Or in
right.
bonds. You never lose
You know, I
in
had
bonds.
someone the other day that was going to buy a stock at Merrill Lynch, and because it didn't meet their qualifications, they weren't allowed to buy it. So I told her, I says, can you go back to your guy at Merrill Lynch and ask them, if I buy Apple computer and it goes down $2, do you give me back my money? Do I lose any money? And the guy called back, the guy says, you lose your money. He goes, well, why don't you let me buy whatever stock I want? What's the big deal? Why are you determining what I can and can't buy? Because Merrill Lynch actually helps the short sellers because they can't own stocks at a certain price. If you own a stock at $3, what was the requirement? $300 million market cap or $3 market price.
$5.
Once you go below those numbers, Merrill Lynch makes everyone in their system, everyone who clears Merrill Lynch, anyone who has anything to do with Merrill Lynch, no one can hold those shares in your account. So think about that. When Finger Motion was 5 and they pushed it down, if anyone owns shares in Merrill Lynch was forced their clients to sell it. You had to transfer your account or sell it. A lot of people just sell it. I don't understand why Merrill Lynch would want to make people sell, but that's what they do. And there's not one reason they can tell me in the whole world that there's any reason for doing that. It doesn't make any sense. The only thing it does make sense is because the people, hedge funds that they're short, these people get nothing but sell orders, and their stocks go down, and those hedge funds that they do business with all benefit. So what they do to hedge funds, they take you out in the back and they drown the companies, William, one at a time. Hey, wait, this Finger Motion's 5, let's get it below 3, drown it, and Merrill Lynch will do us a favor of doing what? Telling everybody to sell it. Thank you, Merrill Lynch. Anyone notice that does that sound fair? Nope.
Sure.
I guess that's it. It's so quiet, William. You awake? Everybody with
Yeah,
me?
there's nothing. Everybody's
Everybody's okay?
over.
Questions?
What time period would you buy in?
What time period?
Yeah, I don't know which one he's talking about.
Wait a minute, what time? You like to cover between 9:30 and 4:30, 4 o'clock? What do you want to do? I don't understand the question.
Yeah, I don't know what he means.
All right. I just told a small shareholder, he goes, he's got a couple of thousand. I told him my friend's selling it at 7. Of course, he's going to come back to me and say, where do you think I should sell it? Well, if you're only 4.5 and it's almost 7, you can at least sell half your position, right?
Yeah, that's the problem. When you ask a price, you don't get out.
I studied Kodiak for a long time, and then I couldn't study it anymore, but I had put people into it, a while ago, and they thanked me, and now they're making money, which is good. That's it, William. I'm trying to do
When you mentioned averaging in, what time frame do you average in?
Oh, it's price. It's price. For example, like MLSS, it's the most common. I paid $1.01 for 60,000 shares, right?
Right.
I should have bought 10 and bought 10,000 at 89 and bought 10,000 at 79 and then really went in at 70 and 65 cents. I should have bought 30,000 down there. This way my average price would have been 75 or 80 cents, right? It's not time, it's price really dictates what it's going to be. In a stock like Root, you know how hard it is to average in a stock that's got a 20-point swing every day? You know, that's a tough one. It's got nothing to do with time. It's timing. It's price. When you average in or average out, it's about price. You know, that's time. Time has nothing to do with it. So, for example, let's say Finger Motion has a quick drop to 160. What are you gonna say? Oh, that was too fast. I'm not gonna buy it today. That's the dip. That's when somebody panicked out or the shorts attacked it, whatever it may be. Those are the times you gotta be aggressive. You know, I'm not gonna wait. That's the price drop that I wanted. And when you get that chance, that's when you step in. So imagine if the stock is 2, drops to 160, and you own a bunch of stock higher. All of a sudden, you're able to buy 20,000 shares down to $1.60. It runs back to 205. You can sell it, make 45 cents. And you say, I brought my average down, stock it. I paid 45 cents on 20,000 shares. If I paid 3 on 20,000, now I own it at 255, whatever. You do whatever you can to lower your cost and to keep staying in the game. That's the hardest thing. Kodak didn't have these wild swings. For many days, it did nothing. So you really haven't had that opportunity to make money in it. Once it traded. Now you may be getting it. But I can't tell you to chase it up $1.30. Even when we're telling people to buy it at $4, $4.50, $5.
ZJYL is 95 cents. Thanks, Ham William. That makes sense. Janet Yellen just resigned. That'll change everything.
She just resigned. She looks like she's dead.
Yeah, when did she show up? All right. All right, I'm going to sign off. You can talk to everyone, but you've been on for over an hour. And,
Yeah, no, listen, I'll be on Twitter in a little bit. I just got to run to the doctor and I'll be back. But if you have any questions, listen, you know what I like. There's nothing else to say.
yeah.
Kodak is a clear example of something we've been talking about. I posted data on it for a while. Most people just shrugged it off because they don't see me saying, hurry up and go buy it. You know, that's what they want me to say. I can't say that because I don't know the timing on these things. Finger Motion has many things available that give you timing. From the dividend to the new contracts to Trump speaking about naked short selling, there's a lot of things that can make it happen real quick. One thing ignites the fire. That's it. All right, William, go do your thing, and I'll speak to everyone later.
Talk to you later. Okay, everybody, I'm going to go. I've got
Call ended.
8 minutes to get on this call, so I need to run. There was a question on NextBridge. Oh, I didn't. I'll read it. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers.